This Korean Life with your hosts, Brian and Nate.
That's not the mentality at home. Well, it's completely different.
Buddies hide
There's a
behind
police.
a tree.
That's
Hide behind a tree with his radar and his buddies down the street. And
But then, of course, they're not on the highway doing that very much either.
on here, there's none on the highway here. There's just
There's
cameras
cops.
and that's it.
There's cops on the highway sometimes, and I wonder, what are you actually doing?
160. Yeah, they're not there to stop you.
I got my first ticket in 16 years.
Wait, by a camera or by a person?
By a motorcycle cop. Right in front of my house. Oh, it's
Doing
just
what?
Camera ones, you can forget about
U-turning.
those. No problem.
U-turning. He said it was illegal. I beg to differ.
What did your ticket cost?
How much was it? It was $70 and 15.
Is that lost?
My
In Canada, they're 300.
tickets for the camera, like I've gotten two of them, they were like
30, 40.
32,000.
Yeah. Those are good ones.
Wow,
Those ones I get.
that's like nothing.
And if you paid early, you pay 37.
Oh, that was,
37, no points. Or you can come in and say it was me, and you get 2 points and pay $5 less, and I'm okay. Thanks. It's funny that one's even an option. It's just pay the $5 more for no points, no deductions, whatever. Man, yeah, it's a different
Doesn't that
system.
feel like a little bribery going on there? Doesn't that, like,
That's why they have cameras.
You went, but in Canada, a red light ticket's like $350.
yeah, but that's what I mean. Like for my speeding 20 miles over or 20 km over for 32, and you did a U-turn and you got
It was illegal.
Me driving 20 over is illegal too.
Yeah, but he's got to pay for the policeman's wage.
Is that
He's
what
on his motorcycle,
is that
gas.
really how it works?
Well, the cameras are clicking all day long. They don't have to be $70. I mean, the government would be overflowing. The coffers would be overflowing.
It went down to 65 because I paid it early. And in the end, I just come from Costco and I bought a turkey for Christmas.
You gave it to him?
No, yeah. I would have held on to that thing. You can have a ticket or the turkey. Give me the ticket.
Here's a BBQ turkey.
No, it was a couple of weeks ago. It was $100, and I went and I bought that last one, and it was $35. But then I got the ticket, so it's everything
Balanced out.
Yeah,
it's a wash.
Everything broke even. So.
Balanced out.
I went looking at turkey because someone asked you to make one, and I was like, do you know how much this is going to cost? And they were shocked and they canceled the order.
Oh,
I was
for
like,
sure.
yeah, I was surprised you even asked me. Like,
but you must know some people on the base, yeah? Or on a couple of the bases?
yeah, but that for me to actually go to the base, it's an hour and a half drive to Pyeongtaek.
Yeah.
So you figure the time and the gas, the cost is going back up.
Yeah.
We were at, I was at an engineer's house here, the last guest we had on here. And there's a bunch of engineers and stuff, and she got theirs from the base in Daegu. Mm-hmm. She got 2 8-kilo butterballs. And
mine's a Thailand turkey.
$25. And like Costco's 120, then it goes to 60, then it goes to 40, and now he gets the last one, and then they start going up again in 2 weeks. They'll come back for Christmas turkeys. And then they start at 120, but if you want to have a New Year's turkey, it's only $25.
I should get one then. I have the freezer space now. Can I ask why we need this many pens?
Well, there's a good story behind that. Because listen, last thing. There was about 30 pens here, and every time we recorded, one mysteriously ended up in his pocket as he left.
Well, you should take one.
And I called him out, and then he brought them all back. Plus some, so Nate's plus 3 pens.
Sometimes they don't work, and whatever.
Okay.
Oh, very nice. Okay, ready? How's my voice?
Is this for us?
Yeah, I made that.
Thank you. Oh,
yeah.
Really? Here, pick your favorite color. Here you go.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Well, does this smell good?
Yeah.
Some simultaneous smell.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
Cool, eh?
Yeah. Is
All
that
right.
business?
Oh, no.
Hobby?
Yeah, hobby.
Future entrepreneur?
Like
Sugar Mama, it used to be Mama's Binu.
It used to be Mama's Binu, yeah.
She moved back.
Binu soap. Korean.
Yeah.
She moved back to Canada, and he became Papa's Binu.
Not really. We do it at little markets and stuff around here, but nothing crazy.
So does that mean you're on Hand Market online?
No, not that big. Not that big yet. Yet. I'm ready to take over this soap world. Fight Club. All right. Welcome back to another episode of This Korean Life, number 110, featuring Christine Che Misun Pennell and Miso. Yes, nice to meet you guys. You had a little bit of a rough ride on the way here, but we made it. Desserts unaffected. A 3-car pileup. 4-car pileup.
It's all part of the adventure.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, the desserts made it. That's amazing. Very happy to have you. You guys came all the way down from Seoul, and you had some deliveries in Busan. You're busy, eh?
It's wonderful.
And yeah, absolutely. And you made cut some time out for us here on a Sunday morning to come and hang out and tell the story. And I know Nate's. You guys opened in August, I believe.
As a store, we opened in August.
As a store, you opened in August. Okay. What was before that?
We've been doing online orders since last October.
Oh, okay.
But even before last October.
Yeah, Nate's been talking about you for a year.
You had Facebook on fire there with all your free giveaways and stuff, and
yeah.
And I was like, I wish I lived in Seoul because like I'd go get a piece of that cake. Or she's like, come stop by here, come stop by there, and I thought, what's the like you said, some people are skeptical. I don't know if this is getting into a church cult or what we're doing. Like, what's the secret here? Like just one cake, but now connect the dots. It all makes sense. How? Maybe take us back to those days when you were putting out free stuff and you were just making stuff. Was the full plan already in motion to open a bakery?
I was told that there was a need for American baked goods here in Korea, and I bake, so I was just trying things out, trying recipes, seeing if it would make the results would be the same here as it would be in the States, seeing what would work, seeing what people would like, and it's kind of like inertia. I just kept moving, so this is where we are now.
Yeah.
I didn't have this massive, I'm going to be, sugar mama idea. It just kept happening. We just kept moving forward, so here we are.
Yeah.
You say you were told there was a need for American baked goods. Who told you that?
My friend told me. Basically, the Korean idea of dessert isn't quite like the American idea of dessert. Sugar is in the wrong places. So.
Oh, that's a great way to say it. Sugar is in the wrong places.
You mean
that's exactly it. That's
you mean
exactly
like my
the
loaf
problem.
of bread?
On a hot dog, on the garlic toast. Yeah, it's in the wrong spots. That's a great way to say it.
So we put sugar back in the right place.
Oh my God, that's
put it where it belongs.
That is profound knowledge right there. That's never clicked in my head. Sugar's in the wrong places. Oh my God.
You got a new slogan.
Okay. So you got a new tattoo. Never mind.
Yeah, it's not that you don't like. I mean, everybody likes sugar, but yeah, that's our problem. It's in the wrong place. It's not where you want it. And Costco gets it in the right place, but it's kind of that industrial manufactured stuff. So yeah, that's a good spot for it, I guess.
What did you start off baking back in before you opened your store? What was you started selling pies? It was cakes. What was it?
Random.
Just red, yeah?
It was cakes. It was lots of cakes. It was red velvet. It was key lime. It was whatever. It was all no.
I made a white cake with raspberry filling and cream cheese frosting. I made a chocolate cake. It was awesome chocolate. I made pie, brownies. I was just trying what was easy for me right away, and using my little tabletop oven that doesn't keep its temperature. And of course, I can't eat a whole pie myself. I had to try it, but it was I don't want the food to go to waste. That's the sin for food to go to waste, especially yummy food. So I just asked people, bring your container here, come meet me here. You can have some dessert. I just, please come take it. And that lasted for about a week, in April.
That was only for a week?
It was only a week. Can I tell the story?
Yeah.
Really? I was going to say it must have been a couple months.
No, people loved it. People were coming. People that didn't even know what American desserts were coming. People not from America.
Well, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen the lineups at Costco?
Yeah.
No.
I saw
line up for everything.
30 minutes for a piece of
one piece of sun salad. I can wait 20 minutes.
Europeans were coming. That's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Very nice.
And so it lasted for a week, and then it stopped because I don't know if the timing, but one woman posted, "Why is she doing this?"
Yeah.
Why is she like some kind of gimmick? Is she trying to hook you in on something? Yeah. So I contacted all the people that picked it up. I'm like, could you please respond to this woman because she's accusing me of something that's not going on. I'm not asking for any money. Just bring your container. You can have it. And people were like coming with containers, like bags of containers. And I was so happy because it wasn't going to waste. It was going to people who wanted to eat it. And that was the last post that happened. They shut me down.
No.
Well, you were the hottest thing on there. I seem to recall it was a lot longer than that, but wow, if that was 1 week, you were all the talk for 1 week for sure. Were you already branding a business by then or no?
I was playing with names in my head. I wasn't that far because I was about to go to the States for 10 weeks. So I was just like kind of playing ideas.
And you didn't have an Instagram or anything you were sharing or? Not
at that time.
No way to retain the people that you were testing out your stuff?
Through Facebook, we have the messages.
Okay. Okay. So now you can go back on that and advertise through that. Reach out again.
Interesting. Get shut down. When do you start back up again? You went to the States for 10 weeks?
Yeah. So I came back in August, and then I just started. My daughters helped me like what to do on Instagram and stuff, and I started posting in Women Expat
Women in Korea.
They allow you to post every Tuesday a self-promotional item.
Oh, cool.
So other than 2 Tuesdays missed, I've faithfully done every Tuesday.
Perfect.
Starting October, I had my first online customer through Instagram.
Oh, cool.
Like someone I didn't know.
Yeah.
And he ordered 6 chocolate cupcakes with buttercream frosting. He wanted them to be moist like Duncan Hines. I made them, but I didn't get to taste it first, and I only made 6, and he ordered 6. So I was like, I have time. I'm going to eat one just to make sure it's okay because I hadn't made chocolate cupcakes here. I ate it, and then he texts me at 10 o'clock. He says, "When are my cupcakes coming?" And I'm like, well, they're coming tomorrow before 6 o'clock. I just dropped one. Yeah. They're coming tomorrow before 6 o'clock.
We're one short.
I said, he goes, well, the due date was today. I'm like,
oh no.
So then I was already making the replacement cupcakes, but it would have been too late. So the guy was really upset. And then, so the next day I dropped them off and I gave him my signature dish too. And then a massive apology.
Yeah.
The guy unfollowed me at some point. I don't know when, but I noticed like last month he followed me again. I was like, okay, he's forgiven me.
Oh.
Wow. What's the signature dish?
It's the lemon mizzy. It's a full apple. On the inside,
it's an apple?
Yeah, you didn't know it's an apple?
No.
It's a cored peeled apple, and inside is brown sugar, butter, cinnamon, a lot of cinnamon, and then it's covered in pastry dough and topped with cinnamon sugar, and then there is a lemon sauce. A hot lemon sauce that you pour on it.
Yeah, because she was gone for a day, and it was me and this one like temporary part-timer, and someone comes in and they're like, "What's this lemon mizzy?" And I'm like,
"Lemon."
That's a good question. I'm like, I think it has lemon. There's pastry, and he was like, "I'll try it," and I'm like, "Okay." And then later I was like, "I don't know what this is. I know it's an apple."
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Good story.
So you haven't had one?
No.
I was going to bring one down, but I couldn't I forgot to bring the sauce. I only had the apple part, so I put it back in the freezer.
Your menu is huge. I was just scrolling through like, how do you have all the ingredients for all of these things? That's incredible. That's not a usual bakery, is it?
No.
You got everything.
The concept I wanted, which is actually very daunting, is if you miss something from the United States,
I'll make it.
Ask us. We'll make it. And it turns out that concept is, yes, it's cumbersome, but people will ask us to make something, and it turns out someone else also wanted it.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So then we don't have to just make it once. And people are like, oh, I miss this so much. I haven't seen it in forever. And that is a great feeling, knowing that we're giving people something that touches like their memories, the amount of food memories we have are wonderful.
Sure.
We get to be part of that.
And now not even American anymore. We made a Filipino egg tart or egg pie.
I saw that on there not long ago.
Never made it before, but the concept of baking, you can follow directions once you know how to bake and
Mix dry ingredients, mix wet ingredients.
Yeah.
Mix them together.
well, see, that's not quite that concept because sometimes all the dry ingredients don't go together.
Oh, no.
But if you can follow directions,
Sure.
you can do it. Like we never made an egg pie before, and she made it, and the customer loved it, and they were so happy. Same thing with an Australian mud cake. Never even heard of it. The customer asked for it. We made it, and they were so happy.
Awesome.
Like,
Awesome,
we're part
awesome.
of that. We make people happy.
Absolutely.
Sugar.
And that's I think different than walking into a Putty Baguette, Tous les Jours, whatever, and just picking from a bunch of options you don't really want. But I think at Starbucks, I'm like, well, if I got a free coupon, I don't drink coffee, so whatever, I'll get the blueberry cheesecake thing just because I don't care for the other ones. And it's different if you could use that at your place and get whatever you want. That's a different story. Now you open yourself up to a lot of extra customers.
It's a lot of fun.
Sure.
Like there's stresses too. Customers sometimes word things in a way that make it difficult for us to figure out what they actually want. But the end result, when people come back and say, "Oh, I loved it," or like we just did recently mushroom cupcakes. There's no mushrooms in it. It's designed as to look like the cute little cartoon mushroom. And her daughter loved it. And it's like when they tell us that, it's just like, oh, this makes our work worth it. Because otherwise we're just like throwing desserts into
the abyss.
We don't know how it received.
Oh, that's awesome. You put a personal touch on that.
So after you gave your trial week there and consulted with your daughters on social media and stuff, then it was looking for real estate or a place to call home or what?
I started out at home. Even though, like, the law says you need to have a business in a commercial space, my Korean and expat friends were like, don't do it yet. You need to keep your risk low. Just stay at home, get your customer base going, and then get a place. So then, of course, I started in October. November, things were already getting busy. And by the end of November, I was like, I can't do this from home. There is too much going on. I need a bigger space. So
You just mean like a regular Korean apartment home?
Yes. I have a 3-room apartment, so it's not tiny.
But still, I mean,
to do it without, because once you don't have enough space, things are everywhere. It's too hard to stay organized. So I got a space in early December. So I'd only started in October, but by December I needed a space. I had to have something to handle another oven because one oven is not enough.
Yeah.
Is that the current place you're in now?
Yes.
So you got that space then. So that was just a random first floor place, and you were just doing your stuff inside. There was no branding. You weren't actual.
We didn't have any
developing
signage.
Yeah.
We were just basically
working
a
secretly.
home factory.
Yeah. Very nice. There's been in the past since we've been here. There was they were called Gringos Burritos, and they were same thing. Started in their house, and they ended up moving into a commercial space too. They said it was too much to do in their place, and they were selling the frozen stuff all over. There was another one too. I know the guy that we used to do the Ulsan Foreigner Market, and the guy who started it, he was baking pies, and I think he had like 3 mini ovens in his house, and to get everything ready for the market on a Sunday, he'd be up from Friday night just cooking 2 or 3 pies at a time all night long. So yeah, absolutely. The space, and I bet the extra oven really helped.
So once you got into that space, then you could be a lot more productive.
Oh, it was nice.
Yeah.
How
And
big
there was
are
light, windows.
Yeah. How big are your ovens? Are they huge? You got like those big bread.
I don't have that electricity. You have to have like
because you're in like the first floor of an apartment building, right?
It was.
It's not a commercial space.
It used to be an apartment that they turned into a commercial space.
Really?
So
okay.
I actually now have 3 ovens, but I put one in my house so in case I didn't feel like going to the store, I could actually start stuff at my house. So we have, it's this size. Do you know how big this is? Can you see? It's this size.
It's about that big. Yeah. For those of you listening, it's about that big. Nice. Oh, cool. Oh, that's all right, man.
So going back a little bit, where where did the inspiration come from to start this? How did you get? I mean, were you asking around when you came? Hey, what should I do? I want to do something. What should I do? I know in a couple of the videos I've watched, maybe you said the answer there, but I'll just give you a chance to answer.
So I had a business in the States that ended during COVID, and that business was for 9 years, and it was a great business. But then because it ended, it was apparent that I needed to do something here.
But it wasn't a baking business.
No, it was a
Packaging.
logistics business, and my children worked with me on that. Yeah. And we had like 40-something employees. So business ownership is not foreign to me. That was actually my second business.
Yeah.
So then I started doing substitute teaching here, and I love children. And of course, the Korean children are so cute. But I hated the idea of them sitting in a chair for 5 hours a day when you're only 4 years old. Like, I can't do this. I want to play with you, and I can't do that all day.
Yeah.
That was the guilt of contributing to the problem of, yeah.
You know, they're so cute. It's like, you should be playing. Let's play instead.
Read the book.
It's like, this isn't going to work. I can't do this every day.
Yeah.
So, like, one thing I can do is bake. And I love, like, I come from a family of 8 people. And then I had 4 of my own children. So there's always people to bake and cook for. And here I'm by myself. And I'm like, this is something I love to do. So by doing this business now, I can bake and cook for people. And I love that feeling. When customers come to the store, I'm a very social person. So, like, just sit there and talking with them. It doesn't make you feel so alone in this country.
Sure.
It's funny, and I'm sure now that your kids are out and about on their own, I'm sure you feel the same, but the empty nest. My mom and dad have 5 kids, and, you know, we always thought we were a bit of a burden or hindrance to them. But now mom cooks, and she's like, there's nobody to eat it. And Nona felt the same way. You know, all the my mom's got 9 sisters, and there was always grandkids around to just pound Nona's treats. And if it was cabbage rolls or lasagna, whatever it was, I mean, anything. And then all of a sudden, poof.
It's gone.
Who am I going to cook for now? There's nobody left to consume all this stuff. So, yeah, I understand that feeling.
And it's a great feeling, you know, to cook for, because people are happy when they eat yummy food.
Sure.
And when I get home from work, if I think, you know, my wife says she's got a work dinner or something, I'm like, do I really want to cook for an hour and a half for 2 kids to complain about it? I'm like, man. So sometimes I wish I had, I cook almost every night, but I wish I had 10 kids that are just sitting there ready to fight for the food, because sometimes I feel like my girls are lucky to have home-cooked food.
Oh, yes, they are.
But and his as well.
Yeah, sure.
There are a lot of people here I wish they had home-cooked food.
Yeah, but you don't know it until it's gone, right?
Yeah, that's what I say.
My kids would go, no, nobody wants your home-cooked food every day. And I'm like, well, when we were in Uzbekistan, they were sure hoping for it, I'll tell you that. Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, like, let's go home. And I'm like, well, we're not eating out every day, and I'm cooking it over. Oh, maybe we can stay.
For 1 week, give them ramen every meal. That's all. Let them make it.
Ramen's too plasticky. I just give them rice and gim.
Okay, just give them
rice and gim. What do we have? Rice and gim. Hey, rice and gim. Until you want to learn cooking, it's rice and gim.
I think the kids don't appreciate it, man.
Not at all.
Till it's gone.
All.
Especially being a dad who's cooking. Like, after a day, like, you could just sit on the couch and watch TV. That's expected. But no, you cook for them.
My typical response is usually showing them something on the Ukraine or the Gaza-Israeli conflict and showing them how lucky they really are. And I know they can't process it, but I think they understand the main point. Like, okay, I get it. I got a school, I got a home, I got food, I'm good. So,
well, a lot of times that kind of lesson, though it's taught young, you don't see the results till later.
Well,
but it's in there.
That was me. And that's why I like going to so many countries and bringing them to so many poor countries to... They know they're lucky. They can't express it. They can't always show their appreciation, but they do, like you say, they do know it inside. What you said, the lemon drizzle? So, sorry for getting that wrong.
No, that's
Mizzy. So, excuse you.
Sorry.
That's
we'll
a Snoop Dogg special, man.
Back to the lemon mizzy.
Lemon mizzy.
The lemon drizzle. My
Actually,
snizzle.
you're not the first person that did that. I have actually on Instagram another girl that she tasted it. She goes, "What is this? The lemon drizzy? What is this?"
You told me you drizzle the lemon sauce or something.
Well, if you like, the reason I picked the name is I wanted something, of course, fun and cute. And when I okay, this is what it is, this is what it does, and I looked, in the dictionary, and it put mizzle and drizzle in the same word.
Apart from that one, what would be some of your other specialties, or what maybe some of the most popular dishes or desserts you have?
So with that question, the three things that come to mind are the salted caramel brownie. That was probably the best seller, along with... okay, so 4 things come to mind. Apple pie.
Okay, 6 things.
The lime pie. And the white cake that has raspberry filling and whipped cream cheese frosting. Those are probably the 4.
What's the name of that cake? Is there a name for it?
We'll call it the Nate cake.
If somebody said it, would I know it? Like a black forest or a red velvet?
No. I call it the wedding cake because when I was in the States, you'd go to a wedding and the cake would be absolutely gorgeous, and you'd go to eat the cake and it was disgusting.
Yeah.
Like it'd be dry and flavorless. And I'm like, how can you make something so beautiful and the inside, the part that we're all being in contact with, is yucky? So I was like, I need to make a cake that takes care of that problem. So it's a very moist white cake, and it has real raspberries in between.
So this is just your own creation? This is not...
Yeah.
You didn't try it when you were on trip somewhere? Or?
No.
Oh, well.
I felt I needed to do this.
You got to give it a name.
I had a 3-tier wedding cake, and the bottom 2 tiers were cardboard.
Wait, at your wedding?
Yeah. They just... It's a ceremonial 2 tiers. And they put a little
Honey
dry
bucket
cake
on the
Was
top.
it here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why. We were just at a wedding yesterday. I'm looking at the cake. I'm like, the only thing that looks real is the top layer.
Yeah,
And
it is.
And they cut it, but I actually wondered to myself, it cut so easy. It made me wonder if it was either pre-cut or even real at all.
Oh no, it was real. We did that's part of the ceremony, the cake cutting ceremony.
But the cake went through so easy.
Sharp knife. I don't know.
We cut cakes all the time. The cake went through so easy. I'm like, there's something funky about this.
Hot
I
knife.
don't think that's a real
There's
cake.
something awry with that cake.
Sure. Yeah. That's
Yeah, so I did a cake recently. I did 3 wedding cakes recently, and one of them was the cake along with the whole, one tier was lemon and one tier was that one. And people were shocked, Koreans, because the whole thing was actually cake.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was like, what else would it be?
Who's going to eat all this? Everybody, 1 + 1, 2 pieces each. When you were deciding on a place to open, what were the things that you considered? Is it close to where you live, or is it where there's a lot of foreigners, or what were the big considerations on choosing a place to open?
So you would think I would pick a place with a lot of foreigners. You would think I would pick a place that was close to me, but I live in Yeonnam-dong, and Yeonnam-dong is crazy expensive. I've lived there for almost 3 years now. I had a bakery basically right where my car's parked right in front of me, and a bakery behind me. And since I've been there, both bakeries have closed. They were opened after I got there, and they closed while I'm still there.
Nice.
It is very hard to succeed because the man's rent was 2.2 million. Like, how do you survive? How do you start out? And he only had enough seating for 6 people.
That's a lot of lemon drizzles.
Churros.
Mizzles.
You can't survive with there. So I didn't pick a place that was close, but it does, if there's no traffic at all, it only takes me 13 minutes to get there.
13?
By car. I drive.
That's easy.
If there's traffic, it's like half an hour. But I picked a place that I could afford. It turns out it was too small from the get-go, but I didn't know because I've never done food industry business before. It has a bathroom that's mine.
Oh, very important, huh?
Right?
Beautiful cafe down here. You got to use the bathroom, walk up a set of stairs, a little bit cold, a little bit
see the neighbor.
Breezy.
Might be toilet paper, may not. Might be soap, may not.
Yeah.
Maybe need a door code. So the bathroom is mine inside the building. There's parking for me, possibly for the customers.
But that's huge in Seoul.
And I have windows. I have gorgeous, like in the States, windows are everywhere.
Yeah.
Here you get like half a window.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
I love the lighting in the store. So that's what got me: the parking, the bathroom, and the lighting.
Yeah. Awesome. How did you decide on a name? Right, aside from the obvious.
Originally, the name was going to be Home Sweet Pie. And then I'm like...
Oh, that's good too.
But it was kind of boring. It wasn't really catchy. Like in the States, maybe, but here with Koreans, would it really be catchy? Home Sweet Pie. I even had a logo. I drew it up and everything. And then I'm thinking, and I'm like, it's not catchy enough. And then one day I was like, Sugar Mama.
Yeah.
I was like, Sugar Mama, guys, what do you think of this? Like my children, what do you think of this name, Sugar Mama? And they're like, wow. And like, we're your sugar babies. Yeah.
Nice.
So it just kind of stuck. And I do like BTS, so there's no R in Sugar Mama.
Sugar.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I have had some DMs. I'd like you to be my sugar.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Like, I'm
I was
sorry.
gonna say, is that sugar daddy going over to the sugar mommy and the young Koreans catching on, or what?
Yeah, so I don't respond to those. But it is funny when the Koreans actually know the reference.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, they just look at me kind of funny. I'm like, no, I will not be your sugar. I will be your sultang. I will take sugar, literal sugar.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Even for spelling too, Home Sweet Pie that's way too long.
That would take forever.
Sugar Mama.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I think it's easier to remember.
Yeah.
Though
absolutely.
people do remember it with an R. Eventually, like if they were to type Sugar Mama and be in Korea, my logo may come up. People have done that. Like they just don't know that it's me yet.
Yeah.
But so it's just like
I'll
one woman
start
was like,
teaching my kids to spell sugar without the R.
But you know what's funny is on Naver, even though it's Suga Mama, on Naver, the English version puts an R in my name.
Oh, yeah. I guess it would, eh?
Yeah.
The owner didn't know how to spell her business.
Typo.
I didn't realize, I guess, until you opened in August, and then I started following the lunch menu. It's not just like all you can eat desserts of your dream, but can you tell us a little bit about the lunch menu? And I've never been, so I don't know. Do you have a good clientele or regulars that come for lunch or dinner, or are you open for dinner? Or I just saw this Italian sandwich, which was a homemade French bread, homemade meatballs, homemade marinara, and some Parmesan or something. Like, wow, that's what Nona would make. And when I said, guys would say, oh, this looks a little bit expensive, but you had a sandwich and a Coke for $8 or something. And I was like, that's comparable to anywhere. Like, and it's all handmade. Like, that's cheap. So how do you navigate the lunches? And I mean, is it one special per week, or how do you decide? And
Well, originally lunch was not actually in the plan.
Right.
But then I thought to myself, the Italian bakery back home, they make Sicilian pizza like every day. I'm like, we could do Sicilian pizza, no problem. So that started it. And then I was like, oh, my daughter was like, we need to have a tomato pesto sandwich. I'm like, okay, make it happen. And then I was like, oh, I want a meatball grinder. I was like, okay, let's make it for the store. So it just kind of kept like adding. And this week we did macaroni and cheese, beef barbecue sandwiches on garlic bread.
Oh my God.
And cornbread, which we always called it corn cake because that one actually has sugar in it.
Yeah.
But it's so smooth that... Anyway, so how did it happen? We just kind of... I said to myself, people may not come just for dessert. That might be a little hard because we're out of the way. We're a little south of the Han. So I was like, if they come for food too, then maybe we could...
entice them into some take-homes.
That might help. So lately we've actually been delivering food throughout Seoul too. People...
Now
You don't take bait?
Now you're a tomato pesto sandwich shop instead of the dessert.
through quick taxi. It's
Pesto
not,
Mama,
it doesn't
easy switch.
It doesn't
Lime Mizzy, see you later.
it doesn't exceed the desserts, but still, like it's legit. Like I don't change the recipe at all. It's exactly what I'd make for my children.
Yeah.
Like in the future, like we had this raspberry barbecue chicken sandwich. Like I want to make that. Like the same menu. I brought my
Panini grill?
No, I bought one here. I bought my cookbook with me. My like patchwork. I made myself cookbook of all my favorite recipes. So I just want to go through that and like make things that I used to make for my children. But the customers that we have some that are. We have definitely like right away we started getting regulars. We have this one customer from LA. He would come 3 times a week and just get the tomato pesto. In fact, he was the first person that could use his points, the accumulated points.
Oh, nice.
So I have his receipt taped to the wall.
Nice.
And we changed prices a little, and I grandfathered him in.
Oh,
I said, this
okay.
is now called Ryan Sandwich. So now, because you were like from the beginning,
He's
3
locked
times
in.
a week, It's like, this will be your price forever.
Nice.
But I think that's a way, and the stuff looks amazing. And if you got guys in for the lunch, which they're going to buy lunch somewhere anyways, like you say, then that looks really good. Like I saw those cinnamon buns, and I was like, Cinnabon, is that what it is? Is that the American company?
Yeah, Cinnabon.
They opened in Hyundai Pequot for like 6 months, and I went once and got and was like, you know, they're soft and gooey and they're addictive, but they left after 6-7 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think they're too sweet for the Koreans, and then that was it. And I was like, nobody makes, and people can advertise we make it, but yours look like the real deal again. That's why I said let's get them.
We actually went through 4 different trials till we got to this one, and this was the one that was hands down the best one.
I've tried before and failed miserably. Just I think with the rolling, the inside ones are really tight and nice, and then as the roll went to the end, they just got crispy.
My wife knows I like them. If they have them at Putty Baguette or something, she brings me one, and I'm like,
not quite.
I appreciate the love, but
Not
you know, it's a
that.
little bit of something on top, and I was like, it's dry and boring.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
That's not
a cinnamon bun.
It's got a hot dog in it.
No,
some
but
mustard.
that's, I mean, it kind of
That's
looks
their
like
version.
it kind of looks like it, but like you say, the sugar's in the wrong. It's supposed to be inside there. Like, get something inside there, man. Jeez, it's supposed to be soft and fresh and warm, and it's anything but. So
Well, you have to tell me how you like the ones that we brought.
Sure.
I'm sure they'll be good. Sugar in the right spot.
Sure. Here's a question maybe you both can answer. Can you tell me about like we've never been there, but tell me about like the ambience of the bake shop. Like when you walk in there, what kind of music? How's the setting? We know there's lots of light. We know there's lots of light in there. What about, is it a noisy place? Is it a quiet place?
Usually we always have English music playing, but who was running it depends on the music. Because there was a period when I first started, I worked with her once, and then after that she was in America, and I just worked with her daughter. So the music her daughter played and the music she plays are quite different.
Yeah.
I think yours is a little more like chill, and hers would be like,
Metallica.
no, like some
Bollywood
Disney
vibes?
music, some Broadway music, a little K-pop sprinkled in.
Okay.
But because it is like an American bakery, we try to give like the authentic experience.
Okay,
Here's
okay.
some Taylor Swift to listen
Okay,
to
yeah, sure.
while you eat your signature lemon mizzy.
Yeah.
That's an apple in it.
with a lemon in it.
Gotcha.
So we have lots of lights.
Yeah.
I wanted people to feel like they were in the States when they came in.
Your concept is
Yeah.
welcome to America.
Yeah,
kind
in
of
fact, we have some customers that say, I feel like I'm in America when I'm here.
thing. Oh, nice.
Originally, we had all the menus only in English, and then the Korean neighbors got a little upset with me, and they're like, you need to put Korean here. I'm like, okay, fine. So we have a sign on the wall, a pretty good sign that basically lets people practice English or Korean. There's a bunch of,
Translations.
for them, things that are applicable to the store, like, I'd like this, your store needs to be bigger, I'll come back every week, I want to go to America, like, all
Sure.
these
Nice.
things.
Where's North Dakota?
We should put that
Canada. At this point, I don't even tell. When Korean people ask me, I'm just like, 그냥 Canada ore. And they're like, oh, like where? Like 어디? And I'm like, you aren't gonna know if I tell you. And then I tell them, and they're like, and I'm like,
Okay.
see.
Okay, free lemon mizzy. If you can point to North Dakota
On
on
a
the
map.
map.
I don't even think
Everybody
Americans
will know
could.
where it is.
No, I think that would be difficult for Americans. That's how unimportant like North Dakota is in the grand scheme of things.
I would bet that as well.
But my favorite sign in the store is one that says "No Wi-Fi, practice English."
Oh, nice. Good. Yeah, I like that. Nothing saddens me more than going to a restaurant and seeing 6 people at a table just all looking at their phones, no one interacting with it.
Do you have any other compromises in the shop for Korean culture, whether it's ingredients, the stuff you make, or related to the actual physical store?
As for ingredients, if people ask me for less sugar, I will put less sugar in their desserts if they special order it. I do.
That would be a repeat customer?
No, they don't have to be a repeat customer. If they just say, hey, can you make this? It's for this person who isn't used to a lot of sugar. Would you please put a little less sugar? There are 2 cookies I do make, and I do add a little bit less sugar just because for walk-in customers, they may want something that has a little less
Right.
sugar.
Low sugar mama.
That sounds like we could have.
But you know when you go to the Italian place, and then my wife goes, "Do you have pickles?" I'm like, "Oh no, come on." But it's just
No, but
it's growing up eating. My kids won't. I mean, I don't think that the young kids now, when they're 25, they won't be saying it because they don't eat kimchi every day. But my wife's 43, and she grew up eating kimchi every single day, and they just don't think they can last at a place. But and you never know, and that's when we say it's a real authentic one, when they don't have pickles or sangmu or the mu or whatever, because that's okay, they're real. But most places that are even authentic will bring in the pickles to satisfy the Koreans.
Okay, so I like pickles, but they're not sweet pickles.
But you know what I mean.
I think
they have carrots, mu, and sometimes some peppers.
We don't give any of that.
It's almost like an antipasta.
When if they order lunch, that's what it is. You have your items that come with lunch. There's no extra, like their sandwich comes with a pickle, but it's a sour pickle. It's not the sweet Korean pickles.
But I mean, like maybe you use yakwa or something.
What's yakwa?
The circle sugar, this really sweet circle thing like this.
It has like ridges, like a Ritz cracker, that little...
It looks like a little flower stamped into it.
So the answer to that question is, I didn't even know what it was.
They're at Costco now. They have yakwa something desserts, and they're selling like crazy.
Yeah.
But I want this is straight America. You don't like it, see you later.
People said to me, you need to visit these Korean bakeries and see what they have. I said, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not a Korean bakery. I'm an American bakery.
Yeah, you need that confidence. You need that confidence to say, I don't want to be like everyone else. Yeah.
You need the confidence, but I think it's a business decision for most of the people who open up their authentic shops that the Koreans aren't going to come back if I don't have pickles, so I'm bringing in the pickles because then my clients come back.
Blue de Folie there, she said she had to cut half her... There was an Italian restaurant that opened. She was at Jamie Oliver's restaurant. She cooked there for a couple of years and came back. I got all these different recipes. Let's do that. Cream pasta.
Cream pasta.
She sells 100 cream pastas a night. No one wants any of the good stuff. No one wants the pesto.
I don't want those customers.
I
want the ones who are looking for. They either have three things. One is they're from the States and they miss it, so they want American baked goods. Number two, they're curious about American baked goods, so they want to eat it. Number three, you have family in the United States and you want to kind of do what they're doing because they're eating American stuff. Those are the three that I think of. There's people from the States who send our things to their Korean here, and they just try to give us something that has a little less sugar in it. That's all. But
that's what I think is a huge market for you, is to get it outside of Korea, because my mom saw that and she's like, "Do you want anything on there?" And I was like, "The whole thing." Just surprise me once a month or something. No problem. Just fire up the order. And I mean, there used to be those, British boxes or something, or Canada box. They got it for me one year because it popped up on their feed or whatever. Someone lives abroad in your family, or
you get a pack of ketchup chips and a thing of maple syrup. They throw it in a
couple
box.
Chocolate bars and whatever, and it was good and it was a surprise. But I mean, it's not cheap. Right. But hey, she saw that pop up on our thing when I was putting. I was like, wow, she's got a lot of stuff. Yeah, feel free to send some. Do you have a sign for the Koreans there? Beware, this food is addictive, or
no? Buyer beware. No.
Buyer beware. Yeah.
I do have some Korean regulars too, but usually if I do, it's because they'd already been in the United States and they miss it.
Sure.
They realize that. So one of the things that's different about us than other bakeries, and not all other bakeries, but the majority of bakeries actually don't bake there.
Right.
They get their
delivered in,
frozen, and then they just put it in their oven, and that's all. So so people will see us making, and they go by and they smell everything, and they see the rolling pin out and the flour all over us and everything. So they see that we're baking everything by hand. We don't use mixes. If there's a frosting, it doesn't come out of a jar. We have to sift the confectioner's sugar. We have to sift the cocoa, sift the flour. That's I think that's other than packaging thing, that's
Yeah.
probably like the worst part of our job is having to sift things. The other day I had her sift everything. I'm like, just sift me big bowls of everything so I can just go. By the way, I didn't get any of it done. There's still
You'll be
bowls.
re-sifting that on Monday.
No. I covered it.
The humidity's sucking it up right now.
I covered it with what do you call it, saran wrap, and they're ready for us to bake. But she did wonderful, and I just didn't get to it. That one customer came, and that was it. I was busy talking with her and putting everything else away. Anyways, so we are legitimately handmade. We don't take shortcuts except for sifting things together, and like we use large eggs. The ingredients are organic. The cocoa, the flour, the sugar. We don't use refined sugar. We have organic cane sugar.
Yeah.
The same thing with the store ingredients. We make everything ourselves. We make everything ourselves. There's no box that we just add water or whatever.
I want to talk more about the ingredients, but just before when you said the comparing to the Korean bakeries and stuff, that's correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the difference between passion and love of baking and running a business, right? I mean, the Petit Baguette is just a business. It's not about putting your heart and soul into your baking. It's just how many customers can we get? Let's move the stuff out, where yours is a love for what you do, and that's why you take care of it and do it the way you do. I mean, that's the big difference, right?
I hope so. I hope people can feel it, that like we actually want them to love the food. We want them to be happy. We want them to have some nice memories around the food that we're making. Like how much, we eat so often. We eat every day, 3 times a day, maybe more, maybe less. But like, after you eat a good meal, it just feels so good. And if someone makes it for you, even all the better.
Right.
Your children. Because it's like somebody loves you enough to make this food.
Yeah.
To make sure it tastes really good.
But when you say like I don't want those customers, other people need those customers,
right?
Because their business is based on just customers, not they come because they love my stuff because I'm putting everything into it.
And that's the difference between being in the shop and connecting with the customers and being home and maybe counting a bigger paycheck. But in the end,
I figured in the end it will all work out. Like I don't need to make millions. Obviously, if that happened, I wouldn't complain, but like the people that we can help, the workers that I can, give them hopefully fun work and a comfortable work environment. The customers who will come back, and we definitely have a lot of repeat customers. Yeah. So we're doing okay now.
It's awesome, and it's the perversion of business these days, where if you're not scale it, if it's not scaling to massive epic proportions, you're failing. But man, it's hard to put a dollar amount on a nice conversation with a customer who enjoyed your apple pie, who remembers it from 10 years ago when they were in America. You can't. There's no dollar sign on that.
That's what's funny. You were talking about the people that we were giving food away to back in April last year. I got added to another Facebook group that has like 26,000 people to it. And someone talked about my business in that Facebook group, and someone commented, I was in Seoul. I got some of her stuff. It was so good. I was like, oh, thank you nice. For saying that. Like, I'm not like this person that doesn't have any connection to anybody. You remember me and everything. So that was really nice. When people send us that, like, I got 2 messages between the last 2 days of people saying they loved it. And I'm like, thank you. That's more than me just making it, that just knowing that people liked it. Some people think our prices are too expensive. I don't know if anybody knows, but we don't just get any old apple. We have to get a certain apple that's not as sweet as the typical apple to put into our things, because we don't want people to be overdosed. We want them to have sugar, but not overdosed. So we have to get a more sour apple. I can't just get that anywhere. And I can't get and for the lemon mizzy, I have to get an apple that actually looks nice. Same thing with the caramel apples. You can't just get any. It can't be all bruised. You can't give them one that has all these little worm markings or leaves on it. You have to get something nice.
Hold on. My girls would not notice if there was a bruise on the apple. With all those delicious things on the outside, they would. I don't even know they could get to the apple.
But when you eat it, you can taste that sour feeling of a bruise. So we have to get good apples. Like, I can get really cheap apples online, but when they come in, the only thing I can do with them is cut everything off and turn it into a pie.
Make juice.
And meanwhile, how much did I just waste? So I actually have to get nice apples. And the fact that it takes 1.5 kilos apples to get a kilo out of it to be able to put in my pie means there's a lot of waste. The other thing is I make a pecan pie and it's all pecans. I have been told that in Korea, if you get a pecan pie, there's a good chance that it's been filled with walnuts, which is a total different flavor. Pecan is much more distinct. So I went to this bakery near me called Richmond. It's a famous bakery in Korea, and it's beautiful inside, and they have some really yummy stuff. But I looked at their pecan pie. Number one, their crust was not flaky. I think it was more of a tart. So I looked at the size, and I looked at their price, and I looked at my size, and I looked at my price, and I was like, I'm right in line with their price. If they took their pecan pie and made it my size, it would be
on par
within like a 1,000 won of the same price.
But it's a specialty shop, right? I mean, you're not a chain franchise bakery. I mean, you're making specialty goods for people who want specialty goods.
And basically everything we make is custom, because if you order something, I didn't like have it sitting like because there's a zillion of them in the freezer. You ask for it, we make it.
And that's what I said to some of the boys. I said, well, listen, I mean, if she's making it just for you, I mean, she's got to make it the day before to bring it down. But if you're up there, go stop by. She's got pieces of stuff, and you can...
And we can ship a piece. As long as they don't mind the cost. We can ship a piece, as long as it's actually something in the store.
$4, you can ship anything. Anywhere.
Well, certain things we can't ship that way. Because if it's a pie, it has to be shipped frozen. It will not survive. The post office, I asked them, and I asked other couriers, they cannot promise it will stay upright in transit.
So you get
that's why we ship.
Frozen.
That's why we ship taxi. If it's not going to be frozen in Seoul, we ship taxi. But like brownies will be fine, cookies will be fine. But anything that could change its shape in an unattractive, terrible way, like a pie or whoopie pies or cake. Cake can also not be shipped.
Is a whoopie pie like macaron's cousin or what?
Oh no.
No,
I never heard of a whoopie pie, but I looked at it and like, is this an American way to say?
No, I would say
macaron, or
just
what
from the
is
look
this?
of it, I would say Twinkie, more Twinkie-ish. Is it like a big?
It's basically a handheld cake.
Okay.
I can't tell how big it is or how small.
It looks like if I squish it, it's gonna.
It's like it fits in your hand. Some would stick out, but it fits. Like you can make it all sizes, but the size you make is one that would like fit in the nook of your hand.
Yeah.
And it's basically 2 cakelets with frosting inside. You're basically.
Cake
it's kind of like what you do with a cupcake if you're the type that takes the bottom off and put it on the top.
Okay.
But it's really moist and it's just so yummy.
It's perfect. Yeah.
It's just
a couple bites.
Yeah. No. Well, okay. Maybe for you a couple bites.
Several nibbles. Oh man, everything looks really good.
Regarding the prices, the shop, and the location of, I remember being in San Francisco. My dad's a big foodie. Wherever he's going, he used to have the drives, and dine-ins or whatever, because they drive down to Florida every winter, and they'd stop at every small little town and find the States is probably. It's not the best food, but man, there's so many good little diners and secret grandma shops, and he would find every one of them. But when we were going to San Fran, he's like, well, you got to go to Johnny's Donuts by NTL's. And Johnny's Donuts is this place. It opens at like 5 a.m. The guys start there at 2 a.m., opens at 5, and they're sold out by 9 a.m. Wow. And they make, how many thousand donuts. Everybody and their dog, and they're not cheap. Everyone and their dog goes there, buys a dozen, and brings them to work. And that's it. And they're done. They've started at a weird time, but it's because people want them in the morning to go to work. They're sold out, and they're closed by like 9 or 10 a.m. And I thought, he's like, we got to get up at 5 a.m. And I was like, donuts are not that important to me. Like, no, we got to try these. Like, everyone raves about these. We got to go. And Johnny somehow figured out a way that he's done at 9 o'clock and whatever, enjoying his day as guys go in early and get it set up. So, yeah, I think if you build a following big enough, it's not about franchising, just make it more expensive. It's that got to have item. It's those specialty things. So, I mean, if they can do it in the Pequot Dome and they're still not that good, I mean, I think you can do it in a shop, no problem.
Back to ingredients.
Yeah, that's right.
I was going to say, what I've learned recently is not all butter is made equal. I always thought butter was butter, but it's not. Is there a special butter that you use or that you enjoy using?
It's the butter that Costco sells.
Okay. I think it's a European.
It's a European.
The European one?
The no salted European one.
Yes. Okay, I used to buy butter just at a regular mart, and it was, now that I look at it, I'm like, it was like plastic, and it tastes way different. And then
Flavorless?
yeah, it was good. There was nothing to it. And then I even tried, I don't know if it was in New Zealand, if there was a butter from New Zealand, or it might have been France, I don't know, but it was, you taste it, you're like, oh my god, this is completely different than what I expected. Yeah,
Is there
the
not
Costco?
Is there not a place to buy bulk butter?
A tub of butter, but it's probably the same flavorless crap as.
There, up in Seoul, there is a Shijang for baked things.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get items there, but not in bulk. That's about the only option I have is Costco and that Shijang. But I find that certain things I will never ever buy there. Like I bought nuts one time, and there were maggots in it.
Where, at Costco?
No, it's a Shijang,
And I just
Come
bought
on.
them. I've only been in business for a year, so it's not like they're old. I just had bought them, and they were maggots, and I was disgusted. I was like, you can't promise me that you can't have maggots in your stuff, so now I will only buy nuts at Costco.
Protein pie.
No, thank you.
No.
No, thank you.
Now with more
It's like,
protein.
if I can't eat it, like in actuality, the stuff that I make in the store are things that I like.
Sure. Yeah.
So if someone asks me something I don't like, it's not as exciting, but everything in there I like. So if I can't eat it, I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
And I'm
What
not
is-
eating a maggot, anything.
What is the famous one from the States? Can't believe it's not butter.
I never
Margarine.
tasted it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
margarine.
There's a brand name on it though, isn't there?
Yeah,
It's
it's
the
can't
name.
believe it's
Can't
not
believe it's
butter.
butter.
That is the name?
Yeah.
Can you
Country cock.
imagine?
That's what Jeffy used to always
How
have.
much I love you. Moo, 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 moo. Do you remember
Do
that?
you,
I have no
No.
idea what you're talking about.
That's the old.
Do you
that was
remember-
commercials in Canada? Anyways.
I don't know if it was butter or popcorn commercial. M&M Manila.
And they called it no.
Nope.
And they called it Mellow Yellow.
that I've heard of.
Okay.
They just butter it. I don't remember if it was popcorn or that was selling the butter, but that commercial sticks out in my mind for some reason.
I can't say I know that much about butter. I just know that sometimes the butter does feel like it has too much moisture in it. Like I don't understand why you're sweating. My butter typically does not sweat, but sometimes I feel like there's some kind of lower quality in there that makes that, or like you said, the color might be a little funny, or the taste is almost non-existent. Like, what did I just put on my thing? I didn't taste you.
The Costco, but that European Costco stuff is pretty
I
good.
feel like it's good. It doesn't sweat for me. I don't taste it and think that there's no butter. I feel like it has a good taste.
Yeah.
Nobody's complained to me that it doesn't taste like anything.
What other ingredients do you find a hard time sourcing locally? You have to import. Is it most or
Yeah, everything.
Okay, so at Costco, I also get their maple syrup. Like, there's an international market up in Seoul, but it's like buying tickets in front of the concert, you know? Like, the prices are actually terribly crazy, and you're not even guaranteed that it hasn't expired. So I have friends that come from the States, and I ask them if I could get stuff delivered to their house, and then they bring it, and then I pick them up at the airport, and I take them out to lunch. So I'm paying for the extra delivery charge, but at least somebody I know is receiving the benefit versus the shipping company, you know,
Sure.
basically getting about the same amount. So if you ever go to the States and you want to get taken out to lunch or picked up at the airport and
Bring home some maple
you have
syrup.
extra room in your... So yeah, when I just came from the States, I brought back with me apple cider concentrate for the apple cider donuts.
Yeah.
That's something that is extremely heavy. But
Glass bottle.
no, it looks like a maple syrup kind of
Okay. Container.
jug.
Okay.
Like you can put your finger in there.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be able to get that here. There's no way.
is that a Connecticut thing? The apple cider donut?
You've never had one? Oh,
We have apple fritters. I don't know if it's.
No, it's different.
I've had various kinds of apple fritters, but I've never heard of.
It's basically a New England thing.
Okay, I thought
New
it must
England
be
is
regional
like-
something because
Like northeastern. New England is northeastern.
usually the ones that you have, they look like cinnamon donuts, which maybe grandma or someone could make, but typically dry and just
Yeah, they're
good
not
because of the
dry.
sugar. So I thought, I wonder if these are more like an apple fritter or what these are.
No, there's no actual apple in it. The apple cider concentrate, but typically they are fried, but I don't have a fryer set up, so these are baked, so they're a little healthier.
Huh.
Nice.
But you don't eat it and say, "Oh, this is a healthy donut." You eat it and it's like, "Oh my god,
Give me a couple
this
more.
is like home."
Scone versus biscuit. I don't think we have biscuits in Canada. Like I
Oh,
grew
you're
up.
from Canada too?
Yeah.
Oh,
right on the border.
Okay.
Right on the border in Niagara there.
I'm on the North Dakota border.
A little
Got
east.
biscuits there. Are you talking about like biscuits, like American biscuits, like?
I think you dunk them in gravy.
No.
What's up? It's like a
sausage gravy.
That's
Yeah.
from
That's from the South.
the UK, isn't it?
Like you have the biscuit,
those, yeah.
and then
No, we
there's-
have that in the Midwest too.
Okay,
Yeah.
we don't really do that up in. The
Are they
North?
similar to scones? Because when
No.
I search for a scone recipe online, I'll get lots of like, oh, this is a biscuit recipe, or these are too similar to biscuits, and I don't know the difference. I was hoping you can clarify.
Well,
You look like you want to talk.
a biscuit. I don't really know scones. Like I know the scones,
Scones
we get
tend to
frozen.
be drier.
Yeah.
I think biscuits are made to be more flaky,
Okay.
and scones are more like not cake, like a muffin cake kind of the texture is. If it's a good one, it's has moisture in it.
Okay,
If
yeah.
not, you need help
Yeah.
liquid intake.
I've seen so many different recipes and so many different takes on it. And I don't know what the
Biscuit?
traditional on scones. And I try new things, and you know what? Sometimes I get brave and I bring them for the guests here. But I was terrified to bring scones here today.
It's hard to get a good scone.
I can imagine. Yeah.
I've had them and they're just basically dry and crumbly. And maybe some people, maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. I don't know. I'm not from Europe. But if it's a moist one, it's really good. There's no, like, you think you're eating a little healthier because it's not like...
It's got a blueberry in it.
Yeah. But and then they put this glaze on it. That's really good.
Yeah.
But both are really good if made well. Like you could have a biscuit and it'll suck all the moisture out of your mouth. Or you could have a biscuit that's flaky and light and moist and yummy.
Sure. Your pie crusts are all made by hand?
Yeah.
Now, again, sorry for people listening. When you're mixing the butter and the flour, this is like you're doing this technique? Like you're using your thumbs to work it into or is it more of a...
What's interesting about the butter is the butter has to stay intact.
Cold.
Has to stay cold, and you have to be able to see pockets of butter in it. You don't want to blend it to the point where you can't see butter anymore.
Or it's like a...
The flakiness comes from that butter still being visible. So you can't work, the motion you just did, you can't work it that much.
Interesting.
We do that for the apple pie crumble.
Okay.
Because I think it looks better. Because I can put the apple pie crumble on it two different ways. One is where it's still separate. The butter and the flour sugar are separate. So it looks dry. Or you can mush it down to the point where it looks like as if it's already been cooked. Like as if you had a Drake's coffee cake, the crumble on top. I like that way better. And that way we mush the butter down so it's... cohesive with the flour and the sugar, and it goes on, and I think it's beautiful at that point.
Interesting. So the layers or the flakiness comes from having the long kind of flat strips of butter in the thing.
No, it's cubes.
Cubes.
But that's where,
when it bakes and then it just all makes the... Interesting.
Cool. Where did you develop your baking skills?
Okay, so I have on my website that I am a home baker. I don't have any license. In fact, the only class I ever took was in home economics in 8th or 7th grade, which everyone had to take. But I always loved cooking. My mom had us all do cooking, cleaning, sewing, all the typical, I don't know, June Cleaver kind of a thing.
Nice.
So I used to... I would bake or cook something new out of the cookbook every week. And then... Growing up, since I was a teenager. So I always said, hey, we went to this restaurant and this was good. Well, I'm going to figure out how to make that. So I'd go online and, find recipes and figure which was the closest. And then, kind of...
Reverse engineer.
Doctor it up a little. and till I was happy with it. I can't say that I'm like this talented, you know, like you see these videos or these stores, these shops, and like they went to this place and had 4 years of culinary training at like the top school, and then it's like, no, I'm just a home baker.
Yeah, but I wonder if those are kind of like, if you put 4 of those guys together, if their things all taste exactly the same, like, because they don't have that experimental. I don't know if they teach that or that's the flexibilities involved in the training or not, but I mean, that's, I used to always get frustrated. How do you make Nona's meatballs? Well, you just do it. No,
How much salt?
How the hell
This
does she
much.
make it? Just do it. And then, Mom, how do you make this? Just, and now my kids say, Dad, how do I do this? I just do it. And I've become that guy. Just, you know, whatever, a little bit of this, and just
you just eye it.
everything
Like,
to taste, not
Right.
not a prescribed amount.
And the next time, if it didn't taste good, you know that. I just
Right.
don't do that again.
Yeah, it's what do you call it? It's experience.
But that's
Experience.
and
You
that's-
can
just
do
do
4
it.
years in school and not, like you said, have any of that experimental side of you, or you can do it over 10 years or 15 years, and you come out, you've made all the mistakes. You're not just reading it in a book. 40 years, sure.
And you can't tell me that 4 years of Korean training on the soup is going to be better than some harmonies, in Gyeongju. Like, there's no way that she's making the 200-year-old recipe. So
It's interesting because I feel like when I was trying to hire for part-timers, I feel like everyone's interested in baking. And like, I got a certificate in the pastry. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then they come and they don't do the same. They have no idea. Like, I don't know what they actually learned to get their pastry certificate, but there is no common sense to transfer into my kitchen.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to how to handle cream cheese or measuring and stuff. Now, Faith here, she's been baking since...
I was also just a home baker. Like, I'd help my mom make chocolate chip cookies. And I think near the end, before I moved to Korea, I was getting a little bit more adventurous. Like, I baked this, like, giant cake for, like, a ton of people for my dad's retirement party. And that was the first cake I ever did. And I think it turned out well. But I had no experience, so I'm kind of surprised that I'm, like...
And she's like my best worker.
but that's it.
But I had the worst first day ever.
It's just the first day. It's the past. It's part of the adventure.
I'm really surprised I didn't get fired.
What happened?
Did you put the bug pecans in the...
No.
Oh,
Did
God.
you have those in
That
there?
was before I had shop.
So my first day, it was the last day before she left for America. So I think it was already a little bit stressful. And then also her daughter was there.
Yeah.
So I get there and her daughter was like, okay, my mom's not here yet. You want to try these salted caramel brownies? And caramel's kind of tricky. I've made it before in America and was fine. But I wasn't used to like how like Korean stoves work. So I was like following the recipe and then it was burning on this metal pan, and her daughter was like, oh, I forgot to tell you, like the ovens here are really hot, so like if it says put it on high, put it on low. So then I just messed up this pan, and then she walks in, the first thing she says, what's burning? And I'm like,
Is that really the first thing I said?
yes, you walked in, opened the door, that was the first thing, and I was like, God damn it.
I'm sorry. That's not the way I greet my... It took 3 of us to wash that pan out.
Oh, man.
We still have a pan?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
SOS. We had to use SOS finally.
Oh, man. That's funny. Well, you know what, though? You'll never do that again.
Yeah.
Like
Some other
I
stuff.
told her, like,
Do you remember what I did later that day?
No.
Okay, good. It's good.
Like, everybody makes mistakes. No matter how much experience you have, you make mistakes.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, some other stuff happened also that I thought I was gonna get fired, but then she saw I was like really upset, so you gave me a pep talk at the end of the day and sent me home with some pumpkin bars. I was like, okay, I don't think I'm getting fired.
Yeah, I'm not into firing people. I think whatever happens, we should be able to work it out.
Learn from
Like,
it.
if you actually want to stay and actually, everything, there's no reason why you should have to get fired. We should
Well,
be able to
it's one
figure it
mistake you're
out.
not going to make in the
Yeah.
future when maybe there's a really important...
Yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
glad you don't remember the rest of that day. I'm really
Think,
glad.
I'll have to rack my
I'm
brain.
really glad.
CCTV.
Figure this. Oh no! It redoes over 8 days. Once 8 days.
Okay,
hit,
safe. You're safe.
You're like, oh no!
But that maybe I'm not so qualified or whatever. I mean, this is the whole problem with companies now, hiring guys with master's degrees, PhDs. You should have a general level of knowledge in a certain field. But when you come in with this ego that, I got a master's, I know everything, I'm 25, I'm, like we said, we've done our master's in the last 10 years and we're a little bit older, a little more mature, but I think we appreciate it in a whole different way that, 23-year-olds starting a master's they don't have the life experience. Mm-hmm. And I think Pepsi or Coke maybe was the first company that started it. And I believe it was in the States where they said we don't want to hire anyone with a master's anymore because we have to kind of retrain them in a master's in Coca-Cola ideology or how we run our company. So you almost have to detrain them and retrain them. And like you say, they're coming in with a pastry certificate from Pee Wee Herman's pastry shop there, and you got to retrain them.
But in that pastry certificate, they're probably learning 10 different recipes, and they can do those, but they don't understand maybe the fundamental, the underlying like how this can be, how these two recipes are kind of the same. Maybe they're compartmentalized in their head, like, oh, I can do these 10, but they don't. Again, it's probably the lack of experience and the no understanding of like.
I was wondering if it was like a Jack in the Box, not Jack in the Box, Cracker Box. What is he call that thing?
Cracker Jack?
Cracker Jack kind of a thing.
What's that?
The certificate, like as if.
Oh yeah. Okay. I gotcha. That's sorry.
I haven't heard.
We got a good
Cracker Jack at all. Yeah, you get it in the box.
Yeah.
How is it that you don't know the science behind the baking? Like I give you this to do, and you did this, but it's that, like, I don't know, like. Have you never made anything even remotely similar? Like the science behind the baking is not coming through.
Yeah.
What does the future look like, or what is in the future plans for Suga Mama? Is it expansion? Is it franchising? Is it getting a cult following of 10,000 people or 1 million followers on Instagram? Or what are you wishing for?
I had these fanciful ideas, which now that I've experienced having the business for a few months, that I realize that it's probably close to impossible. Because to find people who actually want to work, to find people who can fill the shoes of being a home baker, is a lot harder than I thought it would be. I figured there would be expats here who just want to do something that not teach English. But
maybe there are. Maybe you got to put the call out.
But I think visas are also really difficult.
Yes.
There's many that would like to work, but with visas, like our overseas Korean F4 visa is like basically like we get almost similarly the same rights as like the same opportunities as like regular citizens. Crazy. But and that's like probably the best visa to have that I've heard from a lot of people. But a lot of others, like if they have one job, they can't switch over. Yeah. I
would have loved like it's not dead, but I just feel like it's going to take me longer. Number one, the variety that we have in our store is not repeatable.
Right.
So originally my thought was I wanted to become a franchise, like to be not as many as Paris Baguette, but at least more throughout the country, but with a smaller menu. Like the other stores would like do the mizzy, maybe like a cake a week, just certain things. But I also don't want it to be factoryized.
You want to keep it authentic.
I want it to be homemade, like by hand.
I think you could find 2 or 3 people to lead a Busan and a Daegu or something probably.
If you're out there, contact me, please.
Yeah.
I have put in the expat group for women, like, is anybody want to work with me? Like, even if you have a little experience, like, we can build on that. And women will say, yes, I'm interested. And then nothing came of it. Like, they never even made it to the store.
But I think as you grow your name and your brand, I think you'll definitely have a couple of people who would be, come for 3 months of training, or whether it's, even partnership in the franchise or whatever. I think there's a lot of people that look for those opportunities. They just, I don't know how many find them or know them. Nobody down here knows who you are until we start putting the stuff out. And hopefully now that creates, some more momentum for you. But
you've given me hope.
Oh,
what do you think? I would say 100%.
I can think of 3 people right now.
Yeah. Who would enjoy being out of teaching or whatever. And yeah, absolutely. I could for sure.
Teaching is fun, but I feel like there's more stress in teaching than there is in our work.
Yeah.
We chat all day long and listen to music and dance, and
We used
eat and bake. And
we used to make sausages when I lived here. We used to make sausages for that market I mentioned earlier, and it was actually quite stressful because we didn't know what we were doing. But it was still fun to have the hockey game on. And if that was a daily thing, like come into the office, throw some flour and sugar around. That seems like
we just
like a nice.
We just throw flour and sugar around. That's
Quick,
all.
customers are coming. We need to look like we're busy.
We listen to K-dramas in the background to help our Korean level too.
Sure.
We
So
sing.
if you were gonna franchise or branch out, when do you think that would be? Like when if everything fell into place, 6 months, a year, 2 years?
Originally my plan was a year, but we're already at 4 months, and I need people. I just need people. If I
I want more
People as in
part-timers
workers.
too.
I have faith. Okay, I have faith. I have Misong, and then I have a part-timer, 2 other part-timers, but it's not even close to enough. Like, I'm limited by the amount of workers I have. Like, there are so many things I would like to do. I thought it'd be cool to have a food truck. Like, before actually having...
That's the dream. That's okay.
Having another location, I thought the food truck, if it went around the country, it would actually bring the message, like it would introduce people to us without having to look at social media. Like they would see us and like go to different festivals. I thought it'd be cool if we go to festivals, that kind of thing. And then would go to the franchise idea so that our name would become more known.
Food truck.
What do you think?
Oh man, we talk about food truck all the time.
You what?
We talk about getting a food truck all the time.
Food trucks are hard in the winter, but man, for 8 months a year, 9 months a year, wow, you can just clean
And then we
up.
get to see different places.
Yeah.
And meet
beautiful.
customers. I love meeting customers.
Have you ever seen Chef?
Yes.
Oh,
That was
do
good.
you
I
not?
like that.
Were you not like on the online market after looking for like how much is a food truck? I did. I
The other
checked.
day, though, I was like, okay, but I don't know any of the food truck laws, so I have no idea. Like, just like I didn't know anything about this business, like I need to get information. But that would be
Mizong, are you here permanently now? Or do you have
I'm
plans to go back?
here, so I have this job and then another job I do. The other job's my main job, but this like how much I make if I work all my hours is like how much my rent is. So I'm like, if I work here, it's like my rent is free.
But I'm
But,
looking more at the future. Like,
No,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
stayed there for a year and you had an opportunity to open your own, would that be something that entices
think-
someone like you or no?
I do enjoy this job, but I think if I would like to help in the future. I do plan to be here kind of like indefinitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when I get older and want to settle down in my 30s, I'll probably go back to America. Before my 20s and younger years, I do want to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's kind of hard because I have like these 2 jobs that I'm trying to balance.
Right.
So I don't know how much time I could dedicate to like opening up a whole new franchise. But especially if it's close to my house, like it's something I would be interested in helping out in.
Cool.
There you go. Duplicate her a few times and you'll be on your way.
She's an awesome worker.
Yeah.
I don't think she knows that. I tell her all the time, but she doesn't know it. Like, and I keep telling her, "You did great today." I did. Yes, you did.
So for now, it's just kind of keep slow and steady, and kind of
Build up the customer base.
See where we get to.
Hopefully, spread the word more and figure out our processes. Like, I already have an idea if there was another store what the menu would be. I think authentic American food here is something that won't have a problem selling between the Koreans loving America and between Americans missing, a home cooked, because it's really a home cooked meal. Like as if you went to your mom's house or your friend's house for a gathering. It's like, it's the same exact meal. Like I want to do Salisbury steak. Like it's not steak, but we loved it.
Yeah,
you
sure.
know?
Absolutely.
How much?
Do you know what Salisbury steak is?
Yeah, we have Salisbury in Winnipeg. Yeah, we have Salisbury is very popular.
It's simple, but it's yummy. It feels good.
I want to know how much of this stuff you guys eat, because you're both in pretty good shape here. If I took one step in that shop,
Actually, I'm dieting after this trip. Because I don't like wasting food either. So now she knows that. So she's like, the other day she was like, gave me this whole case and she's like, we're going to throw this away. Do you want it? And I was like, I shouldn't, but I'll take it.
Do you want me to stop saying that to you?
No, give it to me. I don't mind putting my freezer and stuff. But yeah, between that and all the trips I've taken, I'm like, it's time to diet. So for the next week at least, don't offer ones. After that, you can offer me or take home things is fine. But if we have like, because oftentimes like we'll be like, oh, we should try this, or this got messed up and da. So we'll eat during the day too. Don't do that for a week. I need to get back on track.
December 1st.
Yeah.
We can start again.
Clear.
Yeah, because it's really hard for
Holiday
me. So
season.
I'm wondering how she does it too.
Yeah.
Because she's been doing this for
do it?
longer.
God.
Some days I don't eat that much because I'm so concentrated on doing, I kind of forget about eating.
Yeah.
The other thing is I fill up really fast, so even if I do eat, I don't eat a whole lot. And when it comes to the desserts, unless I really, really like it, I typically don't eat the whole thing because I know I have to try something later.
I would just try both.
Yeah, that's I have like
both.
the appetite of like
I got
a
a different
6 foot
mentality.
man, so I can keep eating all day.
Nobody wants my half-eaten cupcake. I better have the whole thing.
And I really like vegetables, so
Korea's the right spot for that.
And I really like fruit. Like today, on the way here, I gave her a pumpkin cheesecake, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I had like a piece of fruit.
Yeah,
Pumpkin's a fruit.
I got pumpkin in my cheesecake.
I got my fruit.
I'll eat a lot more fruit if it comes in a cheesecake form.
Oh, that's funny. What? Again, when you said you want or you would franchise, there's 2 or 3 people in my mind who are teachers. What would you say to someone who has like a comfortable teaching career, and what would be your pitch to them to jump over to the baking side, like open the franchise? What's your elevator pitch?
I feel like with any profession, people tend to get to a point where they want to change or they've had enough of it. And I feel like teachers might reach that position sooner than other professions. Children are adorable. They can meet children at the bakery and have fun, as opposed to having problem children that you see over and over again, or having so much responsibility and having to answer to people in that way. But in the bakery, like, it's just fun. Like, I get excited. I get excited about my orders. Like,
that's awesome.
I'll wake up at 2:00 in the morning, and it's not stressed excited. It's, oh my God, I get to make this today. I'm so excited. Someone asked me to make a duck cake. I never made a duck cake
Like the
before.
shape of a duck?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't really I don't necessarily know is this bad to say this? I don't exactly know what the final product will be when someone asks me to do something. I just have like these little pieces in my head of, oh, maybe I could try this, maybe I could try this. And then in the end, you make it and it's like, oh, it came out okay. I like it. I'm happy to give this to the customer. And like the creativity that we can do in the store, like I paint, I draw, but I don't have the time to do that. And I don't do it like I used to when I was younger and with my children and stuff. So I can take my creativity and use it in the store and make people happy. And yeah, it's eaten and it's gone, but you have a picture and you have a memory and you have someone who made their event really happy.
Yeah.
Like it made it special for them. And I don't want to be the kind of bakery that you have to like work till you die kind of idea. I want it to be like, okay, you don't have to make a ton of money. You can, but just make it so that you still enjoy your work and you have enough to live on and take care of any employees.
That's a great philosophy.
It's like, it's not about work. It's about taking care of people when you're in the position to be able to community, contributing where you can. Like, in the beginning, people didn't know about our store in the community, and I would just go outside and give a $5 cookie that I decorated with a sugar cookie to the kids passing by. It's like, it's not doing me any good sitting in the store. Here, have a cookie, enjoy it. And, to see the little kid's face pop brighten and the mother's like, oh, thank you. Like, the stranger's giving my kid a cookie.
Yeah.
As long as they're not the strangers at the playground giving my kids candies that say, come to church tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. No strings attached.
They're always
cookies.
handing those things out with all these messages in them.
Really?
Dad, look what I got. I'm like, oh.
That's when you're giving out the free cake. I would imagine that's where people were worried
typical.
about. They do it. There's a little park over
all the
here.
time. all the time. Especially
Here's
the kids.
a
They
bag
hang out
of-
outside the schools. They give them free.
Really?
Or it's for a Hagwon. They give them a brochure for a Hagwon, but it's got like 10 candies in it, so every kid's going to say yes. Yeah, it's very, very common.
Because they told me to go. There's a school right next to me. They told me to go there and hand out samples there, and I haven't done it yet because it's like 8:30 in the morning, and that's just not a good time. But I think about doing it sometimes. But so if I did it, I would not want to hand out a brochure. Just give them the cookie.
Yeah.
Give it to them because that would be different than what they. So do like what I did right in front of my store.
Right.
Just do it over.
I was going to say the pitch could be just come up to Seoul for a week and hang out in the kitchen, and if you like it, then you're made.
Okay, so there's a little difficulty in that.
No, I don't mean for real, but I mean just to get a vibe of what it's like and how we work, and
only because
that it's fun
in Korea to be in the food industry, you have to get a
Q-tip in the bum.
They didn't tell me that. She didn't tell me that. I didn't tell her. No, I didn't tell her. So I went and I did the X-ray thing, and then I go to the little the front desk, and she's pulls out Q-tip, starts talking Korean, and I'm like, oh,
hold on. It's not a Q-tip.
and she's
it's
like,
this long.
yeah, and she's like, oh, because I'm like, oh, is it like COVID? You have to swab your mouth, and then she's like, insert it 1 centimeter up your anus, and I was like. Okay. And then I sat in I was so scared. I sat in the bathroom for 7 minutes, texting my friends, what do I do? How bad do I want this job? She didn't tell me that part. But no,
How bad do I want this
So I was
job?
like, should I just leave? Should I just not work this? Is it worth it? But I got it done. I purposely didn't tell her about that part.
Listen, our NGO was doing a food tent at a festival or something, and Buddy's like, well, you're the vice president every year. You're going to be there in charge of the tent and this, that. You got to go and be the official food guy or something. Okay, whatever. What do I got to do? Sign this paper, this, that, check. I'm like, what does my health have to do with the booth? I mean, most of the guys selling food, the owner's in Seoul or something. He's got nothing to do with the actual.
It's not like you're touching the food, do you?
And they're like, hepatitis. The guy on the certificate's not even here. She goes, okay, same thing. Oh, take this, go around the corner upstairs, whatever. And I was like, I don't know. How do you measure 2 centimeters? And I pulled it out and I was like, is this enough? I don't know. Am I looking for residue? What am I what the hell's supposed to be on here? Do you go down? He's like, sorry, try it again? What? And then I was like, what were we selling? Hot dogs or something. I was like, this is insane, man. The guy selling hot dogs outside in the corner of the bar at home doesn't have a big test. Yeah. No, I just meant, how would you pitch someone like that? It sounds like a fun, enjoyable, loving place to hang out and to work and to come and watch or whatever would.
We have customers that sit there for hours inside the bakery just chatting with us.
Yeah.
If they want to come up and just,
Hey.
observe, that would be wonderful. They can, if they get the test, they can. I have no problem with them working with us if they get that test first. But we have that responsibility. If someone came from the city, and sometimes they do stop by to make sure I'm not using plastic goods inside the store for customers sitting down. So I'm just
Interesting.
So we'll just give him Misong's number over there for the tips and advice on how to navigate
I'm a pro now.
Tip 1, Q-tip.
practice at home first.
How bad do I want this job?
Actually, I was crying. I think a single tear slipped down my cheek.
I was shocked. The lady, when she said to me, because I didn't know either when I went there, and then there's a diagram on the table, and I was like, that looks like a butt. And I'm like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah.
Swab the other cheeks.
I'm like, why?
I thought it was going to be a blood test, and I'm not good with needles. So I was preparing for the wrong thing. I was like, I'm going to have to get blood
Supplies.
drawn, and then nope, it's worse. It's somehow worse.
Oh, man. When I did mine, when I was working at the kindy, there was a whole it was a different kindergarten, but I went into the, what is it called? The Boganso. The
health center.
The health center. I went in and there was another kindergarten there doing height and weight checks and whatever. And the lady's like, oh, you gotta put it in your butt, whatever. I was like, where do I do it? Because all the kids are running in and out of the bathroom. On the first floor, she's like, go upstairs. It's like, okay. Went up to the second floor, no lights. Everything's off. I'm like, oh, she just wants me to do it here. Drop my drawers in the middle of the thing. Hold on. I'm doing it in the middle of the, there's no one there. Dropping it in the middle of the hallway. Man, the cleaning lady comes around the corner. The 9-year-old cleaning lady. She's all I could think is like she's been doing that job for so long, and every Monday she comes around the corner and nothing's ever different. Here she is. Poor lady.
I remember bringing mine downstairs and crossing paths with someone like you, like just a random lady who was there doing her thing. And
Good luck.
You're like, you check out that one, like, ooh, is mine the right color, wrong color, enough dust, not enough.
They hold it up to a paint chip, like how.
You're waiting on the thing for the guy, like we're here to turn in our samples. Yeah, ooh, not the best part.
Original experience.
I think you had a delivery in Busan yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a following? Do you have clients from Busan currently, or?
It's been a little quiet because I used to come to Busan twice a month because I had an apartment down in Gwanghwali.
Yeah.
But since then, since the store opened, I hadn't been able to do that. So I haven't. That makes a difference. I did have some customers one of the last times I came to Busan because I used to post that I'm coming.
Right.
But I do have people in the States who have me delivered to Busan.
But I just mean, again, in terms of getting it out there, if you say, it's hard to find people. I don't know if it's the wrong places or not enough people know or whatever yet, but man, I'm definitely sure there's some people out there.
I've had people from Daejeon come to the store. I've had people from Myeryang come to the store. So
Cool.
Because of the expat women
right.
posting that I do, I have clients in Jeonnam, Yeoramdong, down in Mokpo. That has me
West
shipped.
Jeonnam,
West Coast.
Yeah. So I think we're known throughout, at least the expat women, which of course would contact expat men possibly. But the taste may not have been experienced. They just see the pictures all the time.
Cool. I got a couple here. If you watch TV here, I know there's a lot of famous celebrity chefs and whatnot. Is there any that have caught your eye, whether it's here or back home? Someone that you would hope to meet one day? I mean, a lot of maybe young English guys are like, I want to meet Gordon Ramsay or something like that. Is there any famous baker that you'd like to collab with or just meet in general?
Okay, I'd like to clarify something. People say, you're in Korea. You have a bakery. You're living the dream. This was never a dream. I just bake. I just cook. I just like to bake and cook for people. So, I entered this thing with Buddy from...
Cake Boss?
Yeah, I entered
I
this
love
thing.
Cake Boss.
They had, a bakery contest or something. I entered it, and I was like, that'd be cool, win some money for the bakery. And then they had it that you had to get people to vote for your bakery to win. I was like, no. I'm not going to impose on people for that. Yeah. It's so then I just stopped it.
You can click 3 times a day. Just keep refreshing the page. Enter your phone number and all your personal details.
It's hard enough to try to sell to people.
Yeah.
To ask people to do this for me, I just felt like people got better stuff to do with their time than to win some money from my bakery. It's fine.
Yeah.
But anybody that makes good food, I would love to meet you and show me something that I don't know. But no, I don't have.
No big one.
No.
What about?
I don't really watch TV here.
Okay.
I forget how it works.
But the quality of programming is so incredible.
I watch K-dramas on Netflix.
Oh, nice.
That's about it.
What about a famous bakery? I mean, Nate just said he was in the Stan countries there, and what was that one with it looked like a big kiln where they're whipping the bread on the inside of the thing.
They make that traditional Uzbek bread in the big, it's just like a big fireplace.
I'd love to visit a place
they
like
just go
that.
slap them on the wall, 150 of them at once, and they just reaches in there. He reaches right into the fire, he comes out sweating, he's slapping these loaves of bread on the wall. And then he scoops them out with a fishing net, and he scoops out 4 or 5 at once. It's really wild.
I'd like to visit a place like that. Is there any bakeries that, I mean, whether you've just seen them online in your experience, have you seen one that you're like, I'd love to go there and see their setup? Or
Okay, I have the opposite thought.
Okay.
I would love to go see Paris Baguette's factory.
Oh, cool.
I'm just curious what they do and who they actually distribute to, because I feel like when I go to a bakery in Korea, they'd all taste exactly the same.
Yeah.
And they all look exactly the same.
Sure.
So I'm really curious how they do that.
Oh, interesting.
Not that I want to repeat it, because then I know I want to do the opposite.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious.
Yeah. Just it'd be so like disheartening to go in and just see like like it's just like this one machine squirting out little things of cakes. Oh no. And what about is there any baking hack that you could that maybe you could share that comes off the top of your head? A baking hack just for the lay baker at home. Anything? Any tips like a Martha Stewart-ish kind of when you're baking cookies? Try add a dash of cinnamon to do something. I know I'm putting you on the spot. I'll delete all this dead air.
I always prefer watching when I made like my first cake. I think all the videos I used were TikTok videos. Because I think it really helps being a visual learner or having a visual guide rather than just like instructions. Because like sometimes instructions will be like bake until medium brown, and it's like, okay, well, how medium brown? Yeah. Like what exact color?
You get that paint chip out again from
the I need a color code. Like what do you mean medium brown? So I think especially for new bakers, following videos would be a lot better than just like printing out a recipe and following it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think one of the things that I appreciate the most that I've learned along the way is when you're trying to put certain kind of batters or that kind of thing or frosting into a small space or a fine space, to actually put it first in saran wrap and then put it inside of a piping bag. And because of doing that first, you don't have this horrible mess all over your piping bag. And because even when we put the donuts in the baking pan, the size is pretty small. Our donuts are mini donuts. And you have this sloppy dough. So by putting it in a saran wrap first, then putting it in the piping bag, and then we pipe it into the donut pan, the mess stays contained. There is no mess. Yeah. And it makes for a much neater result. So
cool.
That is like one of the most helpful. And it goes across the board, whether it's that or frosting. I used it the other day for something else too. So it's helpful. It's kind of boring, but it's very helpful.
There's quite the learning curve with piping bags. We used to work at a kindy, and we used to do baking sometimes, and we just had disposable piping bags. Oh my God, just made such a mess, not pinching the top properly.
I'm just a Ziploc bagger.
A Ziploc bagger?
Yeah, that works too.
It's just so much easier. I did the deviled eggs the other day, and I just Ziploc it. And
I grouted these tiles with Ziploc bags.
Really?
I swear to God.
Wow.
Well, look at you like the drips. It looks like a nice Halloween cake.
It just has a natural effect. That's all.
Sweet.
If we can change directions a little bit, we don't have a ton of time, but there's another side or another part to this story. Can you share a little bit about your journey back to Korea, and maybe give us a little bit of the background and how you got back here, and the 3-year history might have some people wondering what was before, or how did you just randomly picked up and came here. I think it's an amazing story, and the videos are really touching. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of how you got here?
So I was born in Korea, and at 3.5 years old, I was sent to the United States and adopted by a wonderful family. But I always wished I was in Korea. Apparently part of me knew that I definitely had family, because I used to always say to myself, I want to be in Korea. And when I was in my 20s and pregnant with my second, I tried looking for my family, but was not successful. There was nothing in my file to help me. And then 2017, 2018, I saw the movie Lion, which is about a man from India who got separated from his family as a child, adopted by Nicole Kidman in
I saw that. That's
Australia.
A good movie, yeah.
And I was in tears, and I saw that he was able to find his hometown because of Google Earth.
Yeah.
And of course, there was no Google Earth back then. So I was like, maybe there is technology today that can help me. So then I found Korean American Adoptees Facebook group. No idea it even existed. and they gave a free DNA test out, and they also introduced me to a tour for adoptees that the government sponsored to reintroduce us to our homeland. So I did the tour, did the DNA test. When I came here, I was here for 3 weeks. I did a week with the tour, did a week in my hometown, and took a week and drove the peninsula and basically went to everything I could see on the way. And I went home and I said, I'm home for like a week, and I'm just crying because I'm like, oh my God. I had no idea that it would have that effect on me. I had no idea what to do with my life at that point. I just kept thinking to myself, Mom, if you're out there, I tried and I failed, and I'm really sorry. But after that, I heard that we could become citizens again, adoptees. And basically, as soon as I got back, I got my F4 visa. And then in order to finish the process, you had to be in Korea. So I went to Korea after that, finished the process, then had to wait. COVID came. But before COVID came, I got a message through My Heritage DNA, January 25th, 2019. And it said, hello, are you in the United States? Are you Korean? I think we're related. Something like that. Wow. And the message was but I opened up the My Heritage portal, and it said that I had a full sister in Belgium, Kim Holland.
Wow.
And I freaked out. Yeah. I cried. I paced. I screamed. And we ended up FaceTiming that night. And My Heritage paid for us to meet in Korea the following month. Wow. That was amazing. We had 10 days together. At first, her husband thought that I was a scam.
Sure.
That I was My Heritage trying to get their money. But as soon as he saw us talking on the phone together, he was like, you guys are sisters. Like, we don't look like each other at all, I don't think. But our mannerisms, the way we talk, we have...
Nigerian Prince style.
Am I getting off topic?
No, go.
We both have daughters the same age.
Right.
Like, we both have sons the same age, like within months of being born.
Wow.
Both of our sons are gay. Like, how does this happen?
Wow.
Like, I have friends that I've known my whole life. We do not have anything in common at all, even close.
Here we go.
You know, like, we're not twins. We're 2 years apart.
Yeah.
But, like, we have these, and then we have other things in common, which are like, how the heck, like, we've had similar surgeries. Like, how the heck?
That's wild.
Like, we didn't even know. So then, after that, after I got my citizenship, my friend's like, well, you should learn the language now. Because Korean adoptees don't have to learn the language to get their citizenship back. Right. So then I was like, okay, I'll do that. And then I was like, oh, but I would learn so much faster if I was in Korea. So then I was saying to my kids, I'm going to go to Korea to learn. And then I just never left. And here I am.
I came to teach for a year, if that's
How
any
long
different.
ago was that?
16.
My kids are like, Mom, you have a business in Korea now. I think you should say you moved to Korea now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. I watched all the videos there online, the My Heritage videos. Really, really powerful stuff. We'll post them in the description, but that was an incredible story, man. And after a whole lifetime of wondering, and within a month you get the message, and within a month you've met. It just incredible.
Like, I watched that video and I cry again.
Oh God!
Like, I'm so glad I have it. I'm so glad I have that.
You killed me this morning watching that, man.
How did
told my daughter, I'm like, I need to use the bathroom. I'll be back in a second. Hold on.
How did, when you said you tried in your 20s, how did you try initially?
You can write to your adoption agency and ask for information, and I did that. You know what's interesting is, my sister and I were put at different railroad stations in Daegu 3 weeks apart. Yep. So, of course, the police would have no idea that we were related. We were sent to two different adoption agencies, two different parts of Korea. And I was the older one. And when I had come back from Korea the first time, I was crying for that week. And I had this weird feeling that I had a sister. I had never thought that my whole existence that I know of, that I had a sister. But at that moment, and I was like, what kind of nonsense is this? You know?
Deep down.
But then after I met my sister, my mom told me a story. She said that when I was 10 years old, she had yelled at me for something. I was not necessarily a well-behaved child. She yelled at me for something. She says, you know what you said back to me? She said, are you going to give me away like you gave my sister away? That's the only time that was ever mentioned.
Yeah.
She forgot the story. She never told me about it. I was like, Mom, all these years, you never, like 40 some odd years ago, you never told me. But I was like, wow. So I knew I had a sister.
Somewhere, yeah.
What 3-year-old doesn't know their mom is pregnant?
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I knew I had a sister. I just didn't know I knew I had a sister.
Yeah.
Wild. Incredible.
So the second time you did it, I think I wrote somewhere that you thought it was like it seemed very far fetched that you would find somebody.
Yeah, I know.
The second time, and then
You hope.
Yeah.
You hope. Like, you never lose hope. I think until I die, I'm not going to lose hope that I'm going to find my parents. Until it's like really, like when I hit 80, I know my parents are dead, I think. You know? But that's still a while away. But even if I don't find my parents, it would be nice to like find a cousin that lived in Korea or
uncle,
anybody.
somebody,
like just even like a second cousin that's like younger, like way younger than me, just to see. Because when I first saw the DNA result tests back in 2018. Back in 2018, the first time when I did it, because she didn't do hers till a year later. I was like, wow, there are Korean people and they're related to me. I've never seen another Korean person related to me. Because the DNA test is one that like it'll bring you out like 6 cousins.
Right.
But they're Korean. I'm like, wow, this is really... So I contacted some. I met one. I actually have another first half cousin that got adopted to South Carolina. We haven't met yet, but we talk online once in a while. But we did video chat, my sister and her and I.
Cool.
DNA tests are awesome.
You can't... I know in one of them you said, it's not that I don't cherish the opportunity to meet them or I don't appreciate them. I do, fully, but I'm not looking for my 5th cousin. I'm looking for closer. Is there not, with the technology these days and stuff, to work it back? I mean, I know the family tree would be massive, but is there a way to work it back, or is that not
there is
practical?
But you have to have the connecting people.
The other people have to do their DNA test.
So there is someone that was adopted to one of the Norwegian countries. He found his parents in Myeong, so I have some connection to Myeong, and he had the one side test for me, but there was no match. So the side that hasn't tested, there's somebody in there that's somehow connected to me, but he wasn't able to get them to do it.
Interesting.
Like, you just want to pass someone and like pull their hair, take their glass.
Jabbing people.
Here comes me with the Q-tips.
Do
you know that lady in Daegu that walks around with the long Q-tips?
What's up with her?
Yeah, so like if people don't realize that they could actually like there's a lot of expats that are married to somebody that's Korean. Koreans can get a free DNA test by FTDNA DNA test, and the point is to help us Koreans to find. It's not to like be part of a crime scene or anything. It's just by doing that they can help fill in the connect, and it doesn't cost anything. All they do is have to like swab the inside of their cheek and their mouth.
What if you want to sell hot dogs at the market?
For 30 seconds, and then you just send in the test, and like
you don't know whose life you can change.
Like there's so many. So what happened was I was on SBS called a show called Why, and then somebody in Busan contacted the show, and their sister in Chuncheon contacted the show, and they thought my sister and I were their children, but it wasn't us. The years didn't even match up right, but I said, I'll do it anyway. So I said to the SBS interviewer, I said, could you have her do an FTDNA test, please? Because the Korean DNA tests only go for immediate relation, the one that's with the police station, and they will not, their test can't go beyond. Plus, if you're not a parent-child relationship, they don't care. They won't let you know. But the FTDNA test will take it to basically forever. Like you go back to, I don't know, St. Louis. Anybody like Michael Jackson.
Sure.
Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Andrew Jackson. I don't know. Sure. You can take it far back. Anyways, so the woman she did the FTDNA test. So because of the interview, it didn't benefit me, but she found her daughter in Norway.
Oh,
And that was amazing.
Cool.
Like, I was part of that. I knew that, like, I still know the odds of me finding any more family is very small. But by talking about it, I know that other people can be helped. There's another person that's American. She moved to the Netherlands. She had seen my sisters in my interview. So she decided DNA test. She found her father like a year before he died here in Korea because of our documentary.
Sure.
So even if I can't personally benefit from it, at least I can help other people.
Awesome.
So I know personally 4 people who were able to find their family only because we had done what we did in Korea.
Awesome.
So are you also on this journey as well? Or are you?
Mine's kind of also a long story. How much time we got? I can give a summarized version.
Yeah, and just we don't have a ton, I guess, but.
I guess when I was younger, I have a very close relationship with my parents, and where I grew up, very white. Like, I think the town I grew up in, I might have been the only Asian person, like, not even just Korean Asian person. So I grew up, like, with the mindset, I knew, like, I guess I was Korean, but my mindset, like, I would constantly forget, and I would literally think I was a white person. So
You said something similar, right,
Yeah.
Christine?
Yeah. So I remember, like, kids, like, when you find out you're adopted, they're like, but don't you want to meet your real parents? And I was like, well, these adopted people are my real parents. So I didn't have a lot of interest in that.
Yeah.
And not a lot of interest in just, like, Korea in general. I think in middle school, I got into, like, Japanese pop culture. And it wasn't until, like, maybe, like, 2016 that I got into, like, K-dramas and stuff, and then, like, more Korean pop culture. And that's when I started getting interested in the culture. But it still wasn't very family-based. I never had a big, like, desire to, like, meet, like, my birth mom or anything. I went to Korea in 2019, and then last year I came back for a study abroad. And then it was like, while I was here, I was like, well, I think I'm gonna be here for, like, 5 months. I think it would be a shame to, like, not, I guess, contact my adoption agency and see where it goes. So I contacted my adoption agency, and my process was very quick and smooth. They were like, oh yeah, your mom came here, like, a few years ago asking for a picture of you.
Really?
Yeah. So they had had full connection there. So then I asked, like, I was like, oh, like, well, where do we go from here? So they contacted her, and they said, like, because you guys know, like, the stigma of, like, you know, but, like, she has a new family now, and it could, like, really be a big backlash on her family life. And I understood. So I wasn't, like, torn up about it, but I asked them to send her, like, a message from me, which is basically, like, because, like, the circumstances of my birth were pretty tragic. It seemed like there was a lot of trauma and stuff. So I didn't want her to, like, feel bad, because I lived a very good life. I'm happy I was adopted to the family that I have. I was very grateful that the parents that adopted me. Like, I had a very good life. I think
this is the hard part to kind of, like, where do you go next, or what? Okay, I found somebody now. Is it okay to... You can't just go knock on the door or something, can you? Like, and everybody's situation is totally different. And some want to meet and some might not. And so how did it? So
I basically said, like, oh, like, I hope you don't feel bad. I'm living a very good life and I'm doing well. So please don't worry about me. And I hope everything that happened, like, you don't feel guilty and you don't feel like you've made a mistake. I hope we can both live happy lives. And the adoption agency lady said she was, like, so touched by my message that she urged my birth mom to write me a letter. And it was really sweet. She basically told, like she didn't initially want to give me up, but eventually they decided it would be the best. And that only like, her close friend, there's only one person in her life that knows about me, and whenever they meet up and drink, like, they always talk about me, which is very sweet. And then we exchanged a lot more letters, and we, like, some things, like, were similar, like, we both can't eat spicy food well, and da-da-da. And did you ever end up meeting? Yeah, I'm getting to that part. So, eventually she did want to meet me, which is, like, a big step from not even wanting to, like, talk to me. But this is where it gets really sad. Not even interested in Korea a couple of years before, like... Yeah.
Wow.
So this is where it gets really sad. I told my adoption agency, I would be free at this time, and I didn't hear anything back. And that day, I was I was studying abroad, and it was kind of during like the end of COVID, so all the classes were still online. So like I was like doing my online class, and then I was meeting friends later. So I like took a nap, and then like went out to meet friends. And then I checked my email, and it was from the adoption agency saying like, "Oh, like where are you? Are you coming? Your mom's here." And I was like, I called them and I was like, you didn't tell me we were meeting. Cause like, they were like, what times would you be free? And I was like, oh, I'd be free at this time. And I didn't hear anything back. So I thought they were still discussing the time. And also my mom didn't live in Seoul. So she drove up in secret. And I was so just sad.
When was that?
Last year, May.
Oh, the lack of communication here is...
Yeah,
it's
and
incredible
like,
sometimes.
I was really upset, but like the lady was like very apologetic, so like I don't like fully blame her. And she tried to mend it too. She was like, "Oh, like what if we went down to meet them? Like we'll drive you and stuff." But it just didn't work out because like there was stuff with like them staying in like her parents-in-laws, and that stuff didn't work out. And I just I hope she knows it's not my fault because I feel really bad because like imagine like you didn't even want to like you were too scared to like. Even meet, even talk to me, even send a message. And then you worked up the courage to want to meet me.
Sure.
Because it seems like it was probably something like the momentum of everything brought her to that courage. Yeah. And now it's all lost.
Yeah.
So since then.
And then I kept it a little bit in contact with my adoption agency. I told you this when we first met. I have a really bad memory.
That was on the first day. She was still trying to wash the pen with the SMS pad. She's like, I don't remember anything except that damn pen I was trying to wash.
Smell of burnt caramel brings these
Wait,
letters
I
floating
forgot
back.
what you did for the rest of the day, remember?
Yeah.
So...
But yeah, I've kept in contact with the adoption agency a bit, and they've tried to contact her, and she hasn't responded. So I think
whenever you write letters, it has to go through the agency.
I didn't get her contact information. So I think I missed that one window of opportunity, and I don't think it's going to come back.
What if you wrote letters again?
Well, I mean, I think right now they can't even get in contact with her, or she's not responding. I think.
Yeah.
So and it also sucks because for some reason my emails got wiped and I didn't have them backed up, so I lost all the letters.
Oh no.
Yeah. So overall, all bad situation. And now it's kind of like given me like, because it's like at first I wasn't interested, but the deeper you get into something, the more that curiosity builds.
Sure.
And it's kind of like if I didn't go down this path, like I wouldn't have that longing and like guilt right now, but I'm still glad that I did.
What if you just keep writing letters anyways?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they can't even get in contact with her. So I
right,
think
but
that's the thing.
they're not getting a response.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they don't
I
have
don't
her
think I want
address.
to, I don't know. I don't think I'd want to badger her like that because like as long as she...
Just restarting it. You don't have to badger her, like send a letter every day, but just restart the process.
Well, they can't even like get, I don't think that's something I'd be comfortable with.
Oh, okay.
I think my priority is like her comfort and how she feels rather than mine.
Yeah. Cool.
Send her some baked goods.
Oh, there we go. Now we're talking. Lemon.
Send her some salted
lemon
caramel.
Disney. Try that again.
You get it right.
Try that again.
Dizzy Mizzy, put a shot of something in there.
You get it.
Send her some salted caramel brownie.
I like the cream cheese brownies more.
So, Christine, back to you. You said when you first got here, and just that feeling that wow, I belong and everybody looks like me, and I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. But a lot of people coming back, and a lot of the Kyopo Americans that come back, they have like a double-sided feeling where you feel like that, but on the other hand, when they treat you like a Korean and your age is important and I'm older than you, so you have to serve me, and all these different hierarchical rules that they follow and the customs and stuff sometimes maybe overshadows some of those feelings. What was it like the first thing of I'm home, I'm here, this is where I feel, but after that, the first week or whatever, and driving, like Korean driving is crazy. You just came and got a car and I'm going to drive around the country for a week? It took me like years to get the courage up to think I was good enough to drive.
I asked her that in the car ride over. I was like...
She drives like a boss, man. Just, hey, I'm from America. I can drive anywhere. Give me a half ton and I'm good to go. What was it like?
You just asked a lot of questions. Okay, so let me take the last one, the driving. So I live 2 hours from New York in the States, so I used to go to New York 6 times a week to go dancing. So I was used to driving in New York. And I figured if I can drive in New York, I can drive anywhere.
Sure.
And once you get out of Seoul, the driving is quite different. So I don't like to be told no.
Nice.
I like to do what I want to do. And I knew that coming to Korea that I wouldn't really see everything I wanted to see just from being in Seoul. So I wanted to feel for the country.
Yeah.
As for...
He was asking about coming
hierarchy.
here. No, but I think in terms of just having kind of not two identities, but I mean being American, but then having to conform to when people view you. You said you felt Korean when you landed. Everyone kind of looked like you. Like, did you have to conform to those norms after meeting people? So
it's sometimes a mental battle that I have to figure out in my head. But okay, so I'm Korean by birth, I'm Korean by looks, and that's where it ends. But then I tell myself I am the way I am because you sent me to the United States. So if you don't like how I am, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know your customs. I know some of them now, and I can do some of them. So I try to do what I can, and the rest, I just hope they forgive me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know these things because I had no one to teach me.
Sure.
I think the younger generation is getting a lot more accepting, understanding, empathetic, open about these things, not just for adoptees, but in general. Like, they're not so harsh on us. Like, hey, I'm trying my best, man. Like, not everybody coming to Canada follows all the stuff. Like, come on, let's be serious here. We try.
Cut us some slack.
Sure. And often you get, wow, your Korean's great. Or, oh, how do you know that? Or, oh. Yeah. But it's different. I'm obviously not Korean. And even if I have a Korean passport, they still wouldn't take me as Korean.
Right.
But you're not really Korean. What my passport says I am. Nah, but you know. But for you, it's different because any random Korean approaching you, 안녕하세요, blah, 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 and you, oh, okay, slow down.
Just by the way I speak, they know immediately that. In fact, they usually think I'm Chinese, which is a bit annoying because that's what they thought in the States. And now I'm in Korea, and they still think I'm Chinese. But it's because my Korean is so choppy.
Right.
But as far as what they expect of me, even when they look at me, they know I'm not quite Korean because of my hair, apparently the way I part it, that alone, then my makeup, then my clothes, and then the way I walk. And of course the way... Because Korean women tend to be very timid. They give that perception. And I'm pretty bold.
That's what I said, the driving first week here, I can drive anywhere, no problem. Do you know how to park on the sidewalk? Well, sure, I could try.
I've learned quite a few things in my, less than 3 years of driving here. I thought in New York I had to change my driving, but it's even more, I am definitely a more forceful driver here.
Sure.
Well, it's one of the things that comes out in the videos, in chatting with you, whatever, is that you're just that strong, independent woman that, I feel here like you can pretend you're strong, but it's just in certain points that or certain aspects of life you want to give that image off. But in the end, we know that's not the real deal. But I mean, when I watch you and hear you and chat, I'm like, she's just that
determined.
Yeah, just that North American woman that comes with the gusto, man. Don't screw around. You get put in your place. when
we started the bakery, we knew it was coming. Like in March, as soon as I bought wallpaper, I'm like, okay, crap, I'm making a shop here. Like that was the thing. I bought the wallpaper. I'm like, okay, here I go. Like it's the inertia thing. I didn't really know exactly what I was doing. It just kept moving.
So you were the #1 VIP user of every expat in Korea. 6 posts a day. What kind of wallpaper glue? How do I do this? How do I do that? Where do I get this? How do I get that tool? How do I get this? Like, she's on fire, man. Holy, she's got 12 questions a day on here.
It's just that same lady that's giving out free pumpkin cake.
I'm glad you had that resource to use because, man.
I didn't know anything.
And everybody was answering and offering like, now she's got to filter all these crazy answers. Like some guys here, they get all different answers on there. And
Hey, that's what it's there for.
It was a valuable resource.
Huge.
You know, and Michael would just like reply to me too, and I'm like, okay, I know I don't have to filter his.
Right.
I know his will be a straightforward, easy answer that I can follow.
Is that Michael Ben?
Michael Hollyfield.
Hollyfield.
He's the one that that started every expat.
Yeah, that's it. You learn who's dependable and who gives straight
his knowledge
answers
is
and
amazing.
who's...
So when we started it, originally it was like, the idea just kind of would like build onto each other. Like, okay, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. And we didn't know. And I was like, I need outside seating. I can only fit 6 people inside this store. I need to have outside seating. So then we started building pergolas and flower boxes outside.
Yeah.
Now, that alone made quite a fuss in the area that I live in because women do not do construction. I never made a flower box before. I never made a pergola
Do what you gotta do.
And I looked online and I'm like, okay, but I have made things, just not those. So I said, okay, got to figure out these measurements. I need to know the width of the wood. I need to know what nails I can get where. It was quite a like to do anything done here, because this is a foreign country for me, anything is difficult. Sure. But the people would stop and they would be like, just stand there and watch us, like with their mouths dropped, like, yo, Joe. So that was great advertising, actually, for the business. But, like, I'm used to, if I want to do something, I'm going to learn how to do it.
Sure.
Or I'm going to, like, try really hard, and if I can't do... Like, my KitchenAid broke. I never fixed a KitchenAid before. I watched a YouTube video. I brought the piece back with me from the States when I was there, and I fixed it, and it didn't work. I was like, what the heck? The results are usually good. Why is this not working? Brought it to the KitchenAid guy. He closed it all the way and it worked. I was like, oh, that's all. That's all.
Nice.
You know, you do something because you're just going to do it.
Yeah.
No one's going to tell you no because you're doing it.
That's awesome. What, you got
We go for a little bit. I got 5 minutes probably, which is
I
enough.
do want to just remind you what a good worker she is.
I was going to say she could replace the broken
if she
KitchenAid.
if she didn't want to move to the States, it would not upset me at all.
Yeah.
Like, if she wanted to stay here, I'd be okay. Because what I really want...
I see franchisee.
What I really want, like, when I was originally thinking of this idea of, like, franchising, I'm like, I need some good people that I can depend on, that are willing to take to take this as far as this can go. Like, I don't want someone that's just going to, like, there's a lot of people that stay here for, like, a few years and then leave. Like, I need someone that definitely has the plan of staying here and come with me and let's do this together. You know, I'm not someone that... Like some CEOs, they make all the money and then their lower people make nothing. It's like, if you stick with me, we're going to take this. Like, even my children, like, they worked for me, but I ended up giving them each a quarter of the business while I was here in Korea so they could run it. And the workers, like, they got paid well. Like, I'm not someone who's...
Can I just send my daughter up there for training now? She'll be your partner. Train her for...
How old is she?
10. Train her for 5 years.
I love working with kids.
Train her
They're
for
so
5
adorable.
years and she'll be your number one and that's it. What we said.
Yeah.
Oh, that's...
Any closing thoughts? I mean, we'll post the social media links and all that stuff. Any closing thoughts on either part of the story? The business, recruiting, looking for customers, looking for workers, franchisees.
We really need part-timers.
Just in the
Open-minded.
You just have to be someone
malleable
who wants to learn something and can listen to instructions. I do have a problem right now with someone who doesn't listen. And be humble. Like, I hope that people think that we're humble in our dealing, because no one likes to deal with someone who thinks they know everything. We don't know everything. We're just a home baker. Right. We're just home bakers. That's all we're bringing to you. Something, and we hope that you're taking our home baked goods, makes you feel like you're at home. That gives you that nice warm feeling. And as for adoption, Faith and I both happen to have good adoption stories, and not everybody does. So we're very fortunate, and that is part of our personality, that we're pretty bright, energetic people because we've had such pretty good lives. So Koreans tend to meet us and feel sorry for us, and it's like, yeah, there's that part of it, but the majority of our life
Right.
has been good lives. We've been surrounded by wonderful people
Could
who
have
cared
turned
about
out
us
much differently.
and didn't treat us like we're adopted. We were part of the family. There's no my adopted child. This is my mom was like, as soon as you came, she's like, no one was taking you away from me, because someone thought that they gave her the wrong child. She's like, no one's taking you. You're mine. Like, we have great stories.
I
That's
guess
good.
before closing, I'd just like to offer an apology on behalf of the 2 Italians in Ulsan for all the misfits in Connecticut that were bugging you growing up.
You see, you mentioned the thing.
We represent the other side of the Italians, and that's
You're
not.
Italian.
We're not all like that.
Oh man,
Both of
life
us,
was
so.
hard when you were a kid. But
I'm sorry for that.
But it doesn't matter what kids are mean anyways.
Right.
Like
Oh, sure.
it just happened to be because I was Korean. But and
Anyways,
usually
I'm going to tell Nono to send a call out to Connecticut there and straighten those guys out, because that's not how we roll.
But you know what? They're going to be like that for generations to come.
Yeah.
But in 10th grade it stopped. Some reason things. I don't know if they grew up.
Really, my racial issues started like around like middle high school.
Italians too?
No, not Italian.
We're Italians in North Dakota.
No, not Italians, but just like kids in general.
You had Midwestern white people.
Yeah.
Right? My community was all like 80,000 Italian people. And like our high school was massive, 2,400 kids. I bet you didn't have 2,400 kids in your high school.
My
the whole
graduating
state.
class was 26 people.
Yeah. So we had a ton of Italian people, and they were not nice.
Yeah.
They just were not nice.
Bunch of dippity-doo.
But thank you. I accept the apology on behalf of me and the other half Asian in the school.
Awesome. Well, listen, we're gonna end it here, guys. Both you've taken a heck of a journey to come down here and share the story. We thank you very much for the treats, for the
travels
talk, safe travels back.
No accidents.
And,
I hope not. We got that Mercedes.
Yeah, they're
rental
gonna kill us.
now.
And I
But it's
look
all-
forward to seeing the shop.
for sure.
I hope you can make it up there.
We will. I'll be down this winter. Anyways, for everyone listening, thank you and goodbye.